little bit, and then back to the 70s on Saturday and Sunday. Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji, and our phone number collectively, 314-436-7900. You can text that number too. You can call it, text it. Also, voicemails are 314-944-1120. We're on social media at Chris Amy KMOX, broadcasting live on 98.7 FM, as well as 1120 AM and the free Odyssey app.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
A controversial ruling in Alabama on IVF is having all sorts of effects today, and debate is happening. We will talk about that this hour on the show.
And the South Carolina primary took place. Donald Trump beating Nikki Haley in her home state. Now Michigan looms ahead.
And over the weekend, City SC came back, baby.
Loam got a takeaway briefly, but the ball is kept by Julio. Has Arango outside, now back to Julio in deep. Oh, what a play by Nerwinski! Swipes the ball about 2 feet in front of the line. It's a corner by RSL coming, but a game-saving effort by Jake Nerwinski. Oh, baby! Absorbing things like a SpongeBob mascot, watching a microplastics PowerPoint. Nerwinski, the sub, comes back and banks it away with his feet.
All right. I didn't hear that call because I was at the game for the first time. I got to see the inside of City Park, got to experience all of it. It is as advertised. It's a very nice building. Amy?
I'm happy for you. That was that was your first time. Anything surprised you about it?
It was surprisingly warmer inside because it was cool. It was 40, right around 40 degrees. So it was chilly outside. As soon as you got inside, it is, because the stadium is set a little bit lower. It's not really windy. So it's nice. Nice.
Awesome.
But they put on a good show, and took a while for anybody to break through in the game and score. It's not unusual for soccer. And they ended up with a tie right there in the 90th plus minute. So it was a cool night, and everything, as I said, that we've heard about City SC, if you hadn't had the opportunity to go to a game, if you have just been watching on TV, the product in person is better. It's still good on TV. It's great on Y98, and that's where that call came from. But being in the building is a lot of fun, and the crowd is great. I love it.
And also it's intimate. I think when you're there, you can't really get a bad seat. So the excitement, even if you're not typically or historically a soccer fan, the excitement, I think, just builds on itself because you feel so close to the field, because the crowd, it's never silent, especially in the crowd cheering section where everybody stands the whole time and they have chants. It's a lot of fun. I also did something for the first time. Well, I would say this weekend, but it was today. For the first time, I yelled at someone in my car and made hand gestures, not like vulgar hand gestures, just hand gestures.
Yeah.
And I yelled, and the person that I was yelling at looks out their window. I don't know if it was a he or she. It was like a short haircut and glasses. And I don't know, a he or she, whoever it was, you're driving. It's hard to tell. So I'll just say they were looking out their window, and we were both gesturing with our hands, throwing our arms in the air and making direct eye contact and yelling. Now, that's not like me. I think I'm a little on edge. I'm not really sure. But it was their fault, and very clearly so, because I was in the right lane. This is coming up to Kings Highway on eastbound 40. And this person was driving and then merging onto the highway, coming on the entrance ramp, merging onto the highway, kept merging and never even looked and started to just merge into my car. So I laid on my horn. The person kind of pulled over to the right and then started merging again. So I laid on my horn again. It's like that panic driver who's like, I got to get on the highway. I got to get on the highway. I got to get on the highway. That's what this person was thinking. Like, plenty of time before Kings Highway for this person to merge into a regular lane of Highway 40. So I thought this person was going to hit me. So after they merged across 2 more lanes, now I'm on the right side, the passenger side. I look over and I'm just yelling, what are you doing? What the world are you doing?
So
and I'm throwing my arms in the air, and that person was yelling back, and it was a moment.
What you're telling me
is
that you got mad in traffic.
super mad.
Okay.
No,
And-
I've
but-
never
but here's
yelled
the-
and thrown my hands in the air and looked over, made
What's-
direct eye contact. Everyone else has done this. I've
Welcome,
never done
welcome to
this.
Earth.
Well,
So we both had a first. I went to my first soccer game
yeah.
at City Park, and you had your first mad in traffic moment.
No, I've been mad before, but I've never gestured and I've never yelled and then looked and made direct eye contact with someone who was yelling and gesturing in the exact same manner. Which, by the way, if you're in that gray minivan with the short hair and the glasses and you're listening, what in the world are you yelling about? This was your fault. You're the bad driver.
Yeah.
You're the panic
Look,
merger.
Stop
Panic merging.
This happened by Kings Highway on 40. right?
Headed east
Okay.
on 40, approaching Kings Highway. This person had a mile and a half to
So-
merge.
Not necessarily, but very likely Missouri plates.
I don't even know. I was yelling.
So likely Missouri plates. Okay. It could have, if they were traveling east, that meant that they were probably Missouri plates. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell you, y'all in Missouri can't drive. You
Well-
don't take driver's education, and then you just go and take the test, and then suddenly you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you get a license.
Mhm.
You didn't have to learn anything. You didn't have to go through classes. Yeah,
I've had
telling
it.
you, I've been trying to tell you, y'all can't drive here in
know
this
what-
state.
You know what else I think it is? I'm back, by the way, allegedly healthy. Here's the thing. This time around, COVID,
Mm-hmm.
the fatigue hit me.
Yeah.
Worse than any of the other symptoms. Day 10 into this thing, all I want to do is sleep. I also think it made me
Crabby.
irritable. Yes. Made me crabby.
What if it finally flipped a switch where
I
you
think-
became a human?
I think it flipped a
became a
switch and
human.
now I'm aggravated,
Yeah,
irritated,
nice.
crabby,
There you go.
short-tempered.
Like a real person.
Well, I'm also tired.
Welcome to reality, Amy.
Isn't
This
this
is how
interesting?
people live. You are now a person.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of a spike protein and be like, "Come at me, bro." That's how
Protein.
I feel.
You're so dumb.
That's how I feel. Come at me, bro. You don't even know.
I'm yelling in traffic now. Can I got to tell you, I'm gonna air out your laundry, and I don't care.
Oh, no,
There
no, wait.
I have to.
No.
Do you know what it is?
No.
When you were working remotely, because again, you have
Oh, I said a bad word.
courtesy.
I said a bad word.
You have courtesy. Okay.
I hate
so
you.
you worked from home. And so Amy's able to work from home, and when we're in the middle of break, we can still hear her talking because it's what we call in queue.
Yeah.
So Amy's microphone is in
Can
queue,
I say this?
which means in the studio we can hear it, but you can't hear it on
Yeah.
air. Okay.
And also, let me say this. We had meticulously set this up so I could work from home and
Right.
it could sound
Right.
good, and a headset, we tested it, everything. It was not a lack of preparation.
So let's just say that for whatever reason, one little setting wasn't right and your microphone
Yeah.
wasn't on, and it was bad audio for about the first segment.
And
okay?
I realized how bad it was because it wasn't picking up my voice through the headphone. It was picking up my voice
through the
through
laptop.
the desktop.
Okay. The point is, you didn't sound good.
Sounded awful.
And we're in the middle of the break. We're trying to talk Amy through it, and we hear her in queue drop the same S word twice. And I said, "Did you hear that? Did you hear Amy?
I
Because
did.
she's over trying to figure it
I
out
was
with her
so
computer.
stressed. I
Couldn't
was
believe
so
it.
stressed. I
Couldn't
know.
believe it. It was awesome.
And it wasn't shoot,
It was not shoot.
which is what I grew up with.
I was so proud of you.
Don't be proud. I'm not proud
I
of it.
could not have
This
been
is how
prouder.
stressed I was. I was so sick.
You were so close to becoming
I
a real
was
human.
so sick. I was so tired, and I had set up this microphone with utmost care and preparation. We had tested it, and then to know that I was on air, sounding like I was in the very back of a cave, and there was also a dog in the cave, and that's what was
Yeah,
airing.
what was that all about?
That-
Dog started barking?
Yeah, the dog started barking, and then because it was not my headset, the computer was picking up the dog as clearly as it picked me up.
Awesome.
And here I am again, deliriously sick and tired and trying to set this up, and I hear Ron's going, we got to go to commercial. And I thought, oh my gosh, I am destroying KMOX. And in my distress,
We figured it out.
I said 2 bad words.
You did say 2 bad words. The point is,
But
Amy,
Ron,
you've had a violent traffic moment.
yeah.
You've been swearing like you've been at sea for a month, and now
Not proud of it.
you're a real human being.
No, and I feel awful, guys.
This
I'm
is a big
also
moment.
kind of depressed. You feel like you're never going to be back to normal.
You're gonna be all right.
I've had COVID before.
Yeah.
I haven't had the fatigue like this. And people are probably listening, and maybe you've had this as well. And you guys know I run, right? And all of that. So 10 days into it, I tried to go for a 4-mile run. I'm gasping for air. Here's what happened yesterday. In bed till 9, sat around till like maybe 10. I got up from 10 at 10, and by noon, back in bed for like another 3 hours.
And
on day 10, I've never had anything like this.
Are you experiencing the brain fog? Because
so bad.
So there was
Yes.
just a story last week, a Trinity College, a study that they had done, a small study, suggesting that there is actually a medical reason that people are experiencing brain fog. And for, a lot of time after COVID has gone away, it doesn't really go away in your system for a while. It's still kind of there. But once you're past the other symptoms and past being contagious, that you still have an actual brain fog, and that it's real. It's people are not imagining it. That there's a medical explanation that I don't really understand, but they say that there is something behind it.
And that's another thing, because I texted you, and I'm just going to be straight up with the listeners. I was embarrassed because I felt like I couldn't think clearly and that I was rambling. And again, I think that's why why I'm on edge, because I was also embarrassed that I sounded like a blubbering idiot, because I will be talking and it goes blank. I don't know what sentence I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm telling you folks, I'm struggling.
The study from Trinity College in Ireland, they use blood tests to measure certain biological markers and specialized brain images to discover that long COVID patients with brain fog had more permeability or, quote, leakiness of their blood-brain barrier, offering for the first time biological evidence this symptom may be due to underlying changes in the brain. So, not permanent, I don't think, but it is something that could hang around for a while. You don't want COVID. Like COVID,
No, you don't want it.
Your odds of surviving it and being okay when it's over are very, very high. But for those that it's not, it can be a real problem for if it doesn't kill you, it can stick around in your body for a long time and cause issues.
Yeah. And that's what this is. And that's what I've struggled with this time. Like I said, I've had COVID before. I haven't had this fatigue, and it's kind of depressing. Like I'm struggling a bit.
Amy Marks Kors, you look great though.
Thanks.
You look like you're healthy as an ox.
Thanks.
It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks. Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgaier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Warmer spring weather is right around the corner, and now is the time to plan your home's exterior renovation project. Banner Construction is booking now for homeowners to be first in line for beautiful James Hardy siding and Pella replacement windows. Beat the price increases and plan your project now. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 and get a free in-home design and estimate. 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
For nearly 3 decades, there have been celebrations, excitement, moments, and memories. 30 years of Arch Madness at Enterprise Center. And it begins here in downtown St. Louis. The 2024 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship, presented by Valley Sports Midwest and Great Southern Bank, tips off March 7th through 10th. Celebrate 30 years of Arch Madness at Enterprise Center. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX Newsroom.
More of the same is not just Joe Biden. More of the same is also Donald Trump. You look at the fact that 70% of Americans have said they don't want Donald Trump or Joe Biden in this next election.
That's Nikki Haley using Amy's laptop to talk to a crowd of people. Is she in a can?
She was in a can.
She's still going.
She's in the popcorn tin where Frank Ladd keeps his headphones.
Is that okay?
I thought he had a snack, but he didn't. It was he keeps his headphones in a popcorn tin.
Well, you got to keep them protected, and there's multiple ways to do it. But anyway, Nikki Haley, she got beaten pretty badly by 20 points in the primary, which is not as bad as I thought it was going to be because she was polling for a little bit. Wasn't she in the 30s or behind 30 or so points? So it didn't work out to be as bad as I suspected, but still, that's a pretty, resounding defeat. And she has maintained she's going to stay in it until the very last moment. And I mean, Donald Trump is the nominee. He's going to be the nominee. I can't imagine anything getting in the way. Do you think that there's any real benefit to her? And I don't mean for her, but for us. Is there any real benefit for her to stay in this race?
I don't know if it's a long-term play on her part. The fact that she can stay in it, she can continue that name recognition as well as persistence that she didn't bow out. And so maybe in 4 years, she's going to run again. It could be a long game. It could be holding out hope. It could be, I don't know, whether it's an act of God or an indictment or whatever, where Trump for some reason can't be the Republican nominee. I don't know. So yeah, maybe I don't know what she has to lose. It's one of those things where she has nothing to gain and nothing really to lose. What she has to lose is it could be her, not dignity, but her ability to say, hey, I'm going to step out. I understand what the party wants. I don't want to keep losing in front of people because losses are embarrassing. It could be that. That could be a loss for her. But it could also, in the end, I think she's playing the long game, that it's a bigger gain. Here's what's interesting. The CNN exit polls in South Carolina. White evangelical Christians, 75% for Trump, 24% for Haley. Everyone else, 51% Haley, 49% Trump.
That's very telling.
And it's telling, but it's also utterly befuddling and confusing to me. How and why did Trump ensorcel white evangelical Christians, being perhaps one of the least Christian men you will ever meet? How did he win them over as God's gift to politics?
The only thing I can figure is whatever their end game is, that end justifies the means that he uses to get there, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of.
This will forever be a giant question mark for me.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
In the daily hustle, KMOX is your guide through the ebb and flow of traffic, forming an emotional link in the rhythm of your journey. Picture the collective sigh on the face of gridlock, or the relief when roads clear. From the frustration of standstills to the joy of smooth rides, KMOX is your emotional co-pilot, navigating you through every twist and turn. Your companion in traffic, your KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman, check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
10:30, sunny sky, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. Human Rights Watch says Israel is not complying with an order issued by the United Nations top court because it is failing to provide urgently needed aid to desperate people in the Gaza Strip. Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel says she will leave her post on March 8th. She's leaving the GOP's national leadership as Donald Trump's moves towards another presidential nomination, and he asserts new control over the party. Bitter cold temperatures are giving way to spring or summer-like temperatures for many parts of the country. Odyssey, New York meteorologist Craig Allen.
Readings today are going to be in the 60s, 70s, and even 80s, and we could get close to 90 degrees down towards Dallas and Houston and portions of northeast Texas on towards the southern portions of Oklahoma into Arkansas, Louisiana. It will be in the 80s.
We've got some road work on 141 going south at Page. The right lane is closed. 44 west to 270. There's a stalled vehicle in the right lane. This afternoon, sunny, breezy, warm with record-breaking temperatures. High 82 for tonight. Breezy and mild, low 57. For tomorrow, breezy and warm with a mix of clouds and sun. And we could have a couple of late day or evening thunderstorms. They'll develop and move quickly. Tomorrow's high 83. Sponsored by Sachs Financial. Right now, 62 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A goal without a plan is just a wish. To get started on your retirement income plan, call Sachs Financial today and live your best life now and in retirement. Sachs Financial, the home of the retirement compensation plan at retiresafestl.com.
You can admit it, you're obsessed with the news, but you don't want to be that person watching TV waiting for the next news story to break. So use your ears instead with the free Odyssey app. With this station available on the free Odyssey app, you can get your local news and discover news stations from around the country. And with hundreds of podcasts also available, you can go deep into the topics you care about. Download the free Odyssey app wherever you get your apps to get the news you crave. Your news fix, your Odyssey.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Broadcasting from the Underlined Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, get the next 2 free, plus a free upgrade to triple pane glass. And they'll double your energy tax credit. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Regulated activities performed by a licensed affiliate.
I had no idea I could sell my life insurance policy.
Norman and Nancy Duggan for Coventry Direct.
We were about to let Norman's policy lapse because premiums have become expensive. Our kids are doing well on their own, so we just don't need it anymore.
Then Nancy called Coventry.
They were so helpful, answering all of our questions.
If you're over 65 and have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify.
After this past year, we're celebrating life. We've booked some long overdue travel, and we're able to pay for our grandkids' college.
Coventry Direct has helped thousands live the life they want to live, pay for unplanned medical expenses, or supplement retirement income. When it comes to selling your life insurance, Coventry has you covered. Call 1-800-561-2600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to learn more about how you can get cash by selling your life insurance. Call 1-800-561-2600.
Hey, it's Matt Foley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, the spring training home of the Cardinals, and you can hear my daily spring training reports mornings and afternoons direct from the team complex on the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. We are on all the social media platforms at Chris Amy KMOX. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. It's good to have you with us. We were just talking about Nikki Haley, who is not dropping out of the race. And Amy, you brought up something, the polling numbers. Read those numbers one more time in regard to people who consider themselves to be evangelical Christians.
Yeah, this is a which I am. I'm a white evangelical Christian, but CNN exit polls in the primary in South Carolina, 75% of white evangelical Christians voted for Trump, 24% white evangelical Christians voted for Haley. Everyone else, 51% Haley, 49% Trump.
It's just
That's a staggering asymmetry when it
really
comes
is
to the exit polling.
314-436-7900 is the phone number in St. Charles. John visiting with us on KMOX.
Oh,
good morning, John.
You got me on quick. Good.
Yeah.
I figured it out. It was not that hard. Well, it was hard to figure out. I'm sorry. It didn't take long. It just clicked with me. Here's what it is. I hope I don't get cut off. I won't say any bad words. Many white Christians do not like Muslims. Many white Christians do not like black people. Many white Christians do not like brown skinned people from the southern border.
Back on that. Sorry, John. That's just not true. that's not true, especially when we're talking
I
about
wouldn't say
actual
no,
Christians. No, and when we're talking about Christian, this is why,
Yeah.
again, the Christian umbrella, people can say, I'm not atheist, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Muslim, I must be Christian. I feel like a lot of people fall under that nomenclature who do not. It's just a nominal title for them. If you claim to be Christian and you are prejudiced against other people, you're not following biblical teaching.
I
So
guess
that's important to note.
The question I have then is, so how do we then
I think a lot of this is
how do
woke
we
versus
label
unwoke.
how do we label an evangelical Christian then? Because if somebody says I am evangelical Christian, but secretly or in their actions holds the beliefs that John says.
Well, then
And-
I would say
and-
a tree is known by its fruit, as the Bible also says, and you can see someone. The greatest.
So what about that polling?
The great.
What about, do you think all of those people are actual literal evangelical Christians, or they just call
I
themselves
think
that?
a lot of them probably are Christians, but John is saying they're voting for Trump because they're racist. That's not why.
We have to
There's
acknowledge there is some of
There's
that.
some under the Trump crowd,
Sure.
but the Trump people who have Trump as Jesus and are cussing and have the Confederate flag, that's not what you're looking at when you're looking at evangelical Christian. When I'm looking at evangelical Christians voting for Trump, I think a lot of that is driven by culture war issues. Woke versus unwoke, looking at gender, looking at biological sex, looking at what's being taught in schools. I do think that is a bigger driver. Do I think that Trump has emboldened fringe people and has emboldened racists and prejudiced and bigots? Absolutely. Do I see the Venn diagram of that and evangelical Christian? I do not. I think evangelical Christians are driven, at least those who call themselves evangelical Christians are driven by more of the culture wars and looking at virtue
But
and value.
isn't part of the culture wars that I do think for a lot of people when they consider themselves a person who is pushing back against culture wars, I do think that for many of them, some of that is what we're talking about, what John is talking about,
Well, like,
is
here's-
disdain for other groups of people, disdain
yeah, I
for
don't
different
think
races,
so.
different religions.
I don't think so. I think then a lot it's how things are being taught. Kind of like when you look at Black Lives Matter's marches and the fact that Black Lives Matter, absolutely. And I want justice for all and social justice. When you look at the actual organization of Black Lives Matter, there is a difference. And there is Marxist ideology within that organization. There is corruption. And there's also a push against nuclear families, how that is a bastion of whiteness, which is not true. And so when I look at Black Lives Matter, the organization, or when you look at actual critical race theory proponents and how critical race theory issues have been tried to be boiled down to younger ages, it doesn't work because critical race theory is like graduate level theory. And I do
Right, which is
think-
why it's never been taught in
but
grade schools.
there are elements. If you have a critical race theory, you're going to then make assumptions based on that theory, and then that's going to filter down. And there is a Park Slope school in New York, and you can say, well, this is one school, but it affects parents when you start to see certain theories being pushed,
So, like,
even segregating classes by race. That's wrong, and that's happening.
Okay, but then do we have an objection to, well, we can't teach slavery, or this idea that anything that might upset people or might make white people feel guilty, we can't
Yeah.
teach that in school? That's ridiculous.
No, that's ridiculous. And I think here's the problem: is there
And there's a lot of that. And in fact, I would say that the pushback against CRT
Mhm.
from the vast majority of people have been that, because they don't believe in this idea of white guilt. And I don't think white guilt really exists. I think that's nonsense.
Well, here's the thing.
But the idea that you're teaching this to me or to my kid to make them feel ashamed of where they come from, and that's not the purpose of any
But
of this.
there is some of that when you're looking at people like Ibram X. Kendi, who Ibram X. Kendi wrote How to Be an Anti-Racist, which I have that book. I have it. Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility. There is a lot of the whole white guilt, generational guilt, and Ibram X. Kendi himself said the only way to fix fix past discrimination is with present and future discrimination. Well, that is anti-American.
Yeah, but who's really teaching that? I mean, we're talking really extreme viewpoints that I am sorry. There's no chance this stuff is being taught in
Here's the
elementary
thing.
schools.
What I do know is it's not that the whole theory is being taught. It's that there is the ramifications of that belief filtering down to simpler curriculum to the point where you do have in public schools, in some public schools, and parents have had to push back, like in Wisconsin or in California, where you have segregated classes, which is unconstitutional, or you have kids dividing up into, and this has happened to my friends personally, that the kids are divided into privilege points, and you're using immutable characteristics to make very broad and immovable assumptions about somebody's life experience. And that, based on immutable characteristics, whether it be their gender or their skin color or whatever it may be, that is wrong. And you do start to see that.
Let me ask you this. Is it wrong, though, to teach young children that, hey, some people do have it more difficult in life just based on whether or not they are a woman or they are black, that it is more difficult? I don't see anything wrong with that because that's real life. That is reality.
It's not. But here's the difference of what kids are learning. Because you're right, people need to realize the experiences.
But there's a pushback against even doing that because of the idea of making them feel guilty or ashamed of where they come from. That's stupid.
That's the issue. That's why when idiots are on your side, it complicates your actual valid arguments, because people then discredit your valid arguments, saying, but look at this idiot who doesn't even want to teach true history. I'm the first one to say you cannot erase 356 years of legalized racism in the half a century since the civil rights movement. You can't do it. We are going to face ramifications, and that great sin and stain on our country, we're still dealing with that today. I'm the first one to say that. But I'm also going to say that 1776 did not enshrine the legacy of 1619, meaning the principles of the Declaration and in the Constitution are not fundamentally racist. What 1776 did is show that the principles of our country are fundamentally incompatible with the actions of 1619 and slavery, and that there was going to be a huge rift because of that.
Let's talk to Mark in Afton with us on KMOX. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you all?
Good.
I have to go back on Amy. I went to a church for 10 years, almost 20 years, actually. And I watched with the Trump thing, the church turn on a more racist point. And this church is not a small church. It's 3,500 to 5,000. I don't want to give the name, but I had to stop going because it got to be where these evangelicals were preaching this kind of stuff that would lean toward that. They wouldn't say it outright, of course, but they would say, well, we don't want affirmative action. We don't want them to, have any of this stuff. I mean, they need to work for it. We shouldn't give this away, and we shouldn't do that. I'm not against these people, but they can't do. And this is stuff they were preaching in the church of 30 people instead of teaching about God and the Bible.
Was this in Missouri?
Yes, it is.
Was it in mega church? Was it in like more southern Missouri and St. Louis?
Let's say St. Charles.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about, like, I don't doubt that there are churches, and I would say especially South, where you do see prejudicial thinking. Again, I'm saying that's not biblical, that's not Christian. But one issue that we are seeing, especially when it comes to the GOP, is the Southernification of the GOP. When you look at political trends and cultural trends and voting trends across the United States, you see trends, you see people moving, and it's all predictable except in one place, the South. The South has issues, folks. It just does, and it's different, and it bucks a lot of the trends that you see in other states that are in the Midwest, that are on the West Coast, and that are on the East Coast. And one thing with the GOP, and it's this whole like honor culture, and it's tied into like a lot of Southern churches. There's some weird stuff in there and some prejudice stuff, and I will be the first to admit that. But again, I will have to say to then assign prejudice to Christians as a whole is incorrect. That's it. There are people who do things in the name of Christianity who are not
Oh,
Christian.
I totally agree with that.
And I do
They
think there are
think
people
they
who
are.
vote. There are people who vote for Trump who aren't racist. That's not the only driving factor.
Well, I think, and I believe the first caller was making that point, or not trying to make the point that all Trump voters are racist. Certainly, that is not true. But we have to acknowledge that plenty of them are. And I don't know what percentage is, because you're not going to get anybody to admit in a survey that they are racist.
Right. Yeah, but here's the
so
thing.
I don't think you could ever really know. But come on.
He emboldened racists to be loud. But think of this: we are a two-party system, and if you strongly disagree with democratic principles on policy, foreign policy, domestic policy, even on their cultural policy, because Joe Biden and the Democratic Party have moved significantly left.
Not that far, though.
It has.
It hasn't. We keep saying that this country has moved left. It really,
the Democratic
people
Party
in
has
power,
moved left.
The people in power have not. Joe Biden is very strongly close to the center.
But when you of his party, not of the United States anymore, of his party, he's close to
But
the
he's
center.
not. We can't talk about him like he's some whack job socialist, because he's not that.
I say this because you then have a binary choice, because it's a two-party system.
Yeah.
And there are people who hate Trump, who just hate democratic policies more, or think like, well, I got a family to feed. There are a lot of people motivated by, they have a family to feed, and then I believe in men and women, biological sex, and I got a family to feed. I'm voting for Trump, and I hate both people. There's a lot of people motivated by that. To say that Trump voters are motivated solely or primarily by prejudice and racism, I have to push back against that.
Well,
even though I don't like Trump.
Yeah, and I also will push back against the idea that somehow the Republican Party and Donald Trump is really worried about how much your groceries costs, because I think Democrats are also worried about the exact same stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you've seen it. You've seen the thanks Biden, Bidenomics. It's a huge motivating factor for Republican voters.
Which the economy is doing well right now. And it may not be good for everybody, but it's never been good for everybody.
But you get it, though. You get that there's different people have their reasons for voting, and we can't put everybody in the same basket.
I agree with you, but I also agree that a lot of people really are misinformed about what's leading us to where we are and how bad things actually are. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, we still want to hear from you. We've got Did You See This coming up, though. 314-436-7900 on KMOX.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
February 26th through March 10th, enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets for you and your friends to see Arrival from Sweden, the music of ABBA, at the Factory on April 14th. An Arrival from Sweden show is the closest you can get to the experience of seeing the real ABBA on stage. Enter by going to the KMOX contest page, clicking on the Arrival from Sweden contest link, enter your email address, and click Submit. Winners will be randomly picked at the end. Tickets are on sale now.
Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $20 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-973-3097, and you are guaranteed a $20 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3097. Call now and you will receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3097 now to secure your $20 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3097.
Hey, everybody, this is Charlie Brennan. You know that for more than 25 years, I've been a patient at Ophthalmology Associates, the home of the doctors' doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer. Also, my wife, kids, and sister all go there for their eye care as well. After all, these doctors have 3 convenient locations. They have an excellent, experienced staff, the latest technology, and a sizable optical department on location. They're also available for emergency calls. And now, the doctors' doctors are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon with the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment. In Sullivan, 270 in Manchester, and St. Peter's. Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and now Berry. The best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, youridoc.com.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
STL Today is named Under Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm. We'll continue to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW, a family-owned dealership group that has been around for 50 years as a Toyota dealer and 25 years in O'Fallon, Illinois. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Chris Ranji.
Wonderful bones, great eyes, and you dress really interesting.
On KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Ron, I got a job for you. I got
Great.
a job for you in case this doesn't work out. NASA is looking for 4 people to join a year-long mission in Mars simulator. So you will live in a 3D printed 1,700 square foot facility at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. And it is supposed to look like the facility in which you would live were you to go to Mars. And what you have to do is you have to pretend like you are on Mars. You have to collect data.
Okay.
You're going to have to deal with malfunctions in equipment. You are going to have to work with limited resources, communication delays, and environmental stressors. You'll have to do spacewalks, operate robots, grow crops, and maintain the facility. It's the Mars Dune Alpha. So you basically have to completely pretend to live in Mars, be on this in this simulator for a year.
Can't leave.
You can't leave.
I can't leave, and I guess every time I'm outside, I have to wear a suit.
Yeah.
So you have to fully. It's a simulation. Fully
you
pretend.
never get out. You never get to be normal. So I think you qualify. You have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident.
Yes.
Between the ages of 30 and 55.
Yes.
Non-smoker.
Yes.
And speak English proficiently.
Yeah, let's go. How much do I get paid?
Additionally, well, it doesn't say. Additionally, ideally, you have experience in STEM.
Let me ask you this. Do I get to make phone calls to Earth?
Well, not like a regular long-distance phone call. You get to talk to the mission control.
But I don't get to talk to people?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't think so. I mean, because I don't think you'd be able to do that on Mars.
Can I think about it?
Yeah.
Can I think? Is there a
Honestly,
deadline?
I actually don't think you have to have at least 4 years of professional STEM experience and either a bachelor's degree in STEM or completed
why
military
didn't you
officer training.
That's okay. I don't
Well,
have
they put
any
it
of those
at the very
things.
bottom of the application.
Why did you? Okay, well, that doesn't really help me then. No, I can't do that. But I would be totally interested to.
No, but would you really? How much would you have to get paid?
If I were,
because this is a real Mars simulation.
if I were 30, I would do it.
No, come on. Just what if you wouldn't do it now for $5 million?
Oh, for 5? Yeah, okay. Yeah, see you all in a year. Absolutely. Goodbye.
You'd be crazy not to.
Right. Hey, did you know Evolution Festival's coming back?
Oh, man.
At the end of September, let's talk to Steve Shankman about the great lineup. Evolution Festival in Forest Park. Steve's next on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Eileen talks about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
A lot of gross kitchen in the beginning, crack formica, bad floor, ripped linoleum, and I decided to heck with this. I want it done. And I found an ad from 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. I called him. Dave brought all of his stuff. We talked about what I wanted. I chose the materials. It was very easy. He came in, he did what he said. They did it in the time frame that they said, at the cost that they said. His crew was delightful. We came home, everything had been cleaned up. I would say people are silly not to do 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. I just love it. It's just like I moved into a new home.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over $15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but accelerated debt settlement moves fast. Just call 1-877-314-1165.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-877-314-1165 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-877-314-1165. 1-877-314-1165.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Zero Res, the best carpet cleaners I've ever seen. I use them all the time. All my friends and family have used them at one time or another. They are absolutely the real deal. February, the month of love. So when is the last time you gave your carpet and your family the love and attention that it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? If you do get down on your hands and knees, I promise you, you're going to realize how truly dirty and kind of nasty that carpeting is. Not your fault. It's just the way life goes, and gravity takes everything bad down into that carpet. We will clean 3 rooms of carpeting for $119 plus a free hallway. And don't forget that Dirt and Dander's favorite hiding place is your air ducts. $50 off of your air duct cleaning during the month of February. Simply call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Make sure you mention KMOX and the DGS.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a sunny sky, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. The Supreme Court is considering the content social media companies should be allowed to delete or block based on policy restrictions. Florida Solicitor General Henry Whitaker says internet platforms control the way millions of Americans communicate with one another and with the world, and achieved their success claiming they were neutral forums for free speech.
They now say that they are in fact editors of their user speech, rather like a newspaper. They contend that they possess a broad First Amendment right to censor anything they host on their sites, even when doing so contradicts their own representations to consumers.
The Missouri Attorney General sent a cease and desist letter to 3 St. Louis County school districts over accusations of discrimination against students and staff. Andrew Bailey says his office got reports that Lindbergh, Parkway, and Webster Grove schools are discriminating based on race and religion. The Webster Grove School District called the accusations of race-based hiring ridiculous. Ronna McDaniel announces she is resigning as head of the Republican National Committee effective March 8th. University of Virginia political analyst Larry Sabato says former President Trump is looking to ensure he has as many allies as possible heading into the general election.
A large majority of the people in the RNC are Trump people. They already were, and they will be even more so under this new regime.
Trump has endorsed North Carolina GOP Chairman Michael Whatley to be McDaniel's successor and his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, to serve as co-chair. President Biden's strength in the key battleground state of Michigan will be tested in tomorrow's primary when some Democrats may vote uncommitted.
President Biden is on the ballot in Michigan tomorrow. His surrogates honed in on abortion rights while campaigning there over the weekend. The Israel-Hamas conflict is the other big issue in the Great Lakes state. Some pro-Palestinian activists are pushing Democratic primary voters to vote uncommitted in protest of the president's support of Israel. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
The KMOX Business Desk, the lineup for Evolution Festival is announced. This is the second year for the event in Forest Park. The Killers and Beck are headlining. There'll be other artists, including Jane's Addiction and Blondie. The festival is the last weekend in September and includes art and food. The Dow from Stifel is up 8 points to 39,140. We've got road work on 270 south at Tesson Ferry. The right 2 lanes are closed. Also road work on 44 east before 50 in the left lane. And a stalled vehicle 44 west at 270 that currently has the right lane closed there.
KMOX AccuWeather calling for mostly sunny skies, breezy, and very warm with record-breaking temperatures this afternoon. We'll see a high of 82 degrees. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brandon Buckingham on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Right now, 65 in Florissant, 66 in St. Peters, and 66 downtown St. Louis. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kids' best summer yet at St. Louis University.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Pete Weber.
Wow, Pete Weber.
Who do you think you are?
Well, how many years ago today was that?
12.
12 years ago. Who do you think you are? I am.
And apparently the story behind that is he was yelling at some teens that had been heckling him. And I guess they were heckling him. And so he looked at them after he won and said, "Who do you think you are? I am," which also is somewhat of a confusing phrase, but I love it.
Isn't that just awesome? I don't think there's anything better in any kind of sport. And bowling, I guess, is a sport, right? Technically, sport.
Yeah.
Fine, sport. It's a sport.
Because someone said that's why it's called the Olympic Games and not the Olympic sports.
There you go.
Because some of them are more like games.
It's a competition.
It's a competition.
Of all of the competitions, I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. When a guy is really cocky in a sport that people aren't, into like baseball and football and that sort of thing.
Here's the thing. All
That's
of
awesome.
us have bowled a strike. A kindergartner has bowled a strike accidentally, but no one is accidentally going to hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball 450 feet into the stands. You know what I mean? There's always something to it when you can accidentally do what the best do.
It's awesome. Let's go to the Quiver River Electric guest line this morning. The president of Contemporary Productions, Steve Shankman, visits with us. Evolution Festival is coming back to Forest Park September 28th and 29th. And Steve is with us on KMOX. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Matter of fact, believe it or not, I'm standing right out in Forest Park in Langenberg Field where 2024, the second year of Evolution, will take place. September 28th and September 29th.
It is a perfect day to be out in Forest Park right now. It's gorgeous outside. And we've got
come back Wednesday. We'll have a whole different kind of weather.
that's what I heard. February 28th, so a couple of days away. It'll be on Wednesday, 10 in the morning. Tickets are going on sale for Evolution Festival. We've heard some of the lineup. Tell us about it. What are the main attractions for you, Steve?
Happy to. Well, we wanted the Killers last year. Killers are one of the biggest rock act that plays festivals around the country. Matter of fact, they're playing in New Orleans at the New Orleans Festival with the Rolling Stones. So we're able to get the Killers this year. This is one of the newer acts we have because, the whole idea behind Evolution is diversity of talent and genre. So music from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, even the 2010s. So Mr. Brightside has become like the anthem for weddings now. Matter of fact, I just heard that it's a fight song that they use at Mizzou down in Columbia. So right now, Mr. Brightside is their biggest song, and it's supposedly going to be the new wedding song, taking the place of Don't Stop Believing by my friend's Journey. Also Beck. So now we go back a few more years, an older group that's been around, but a guy that does alternative rock, hip hop, just everything from rock to folk. And to have him on the show alongside of the Killers is going to be great. Jane's Addiction, another great rock and roll act. Happy to have them back in St. Louis. I did them many times, being that I worked with the pageant and the factory and also developed Riverport. So having a great LA band from the 90s with Perry Farrell singing, it's going to be a great, great, great show. One of my favorites, talk about iconic, is Blondie. Blondie crosses all genres of music and fashion. Just totally iconic. And to have Blondie on this stage, kind of keeping with what we did last year, some new, some old, some historic, some iconic, and some just great music. And then really happy to announce that we have Killer Mike, just won 3 Grammy Awards last month. Killer Mike actually links up with Trackstar in St. Louis, our own homegrown Trackstar, who is his DJ. And that's going to be great. And you talk about other kinds of icons that are coming. Todd Rundgren, how many times has he come to St. Louis? And I've got to know him pretty well over the years, playing at all the smaller theaters in town. So once again, you're going to have a stage, 2 stages, and now 3 stages filled with unbelievable acts. In our disco hip hop category, of all people, we're able to get Nile Rodgers, Chic. You remember Good Times? These are great old rap songs. And last year we had Sugar Hill Gang, which was great, and Ice Cube. So now this year we got Nile. And Nile is going to be great and just another great act. And then getting to a little country, a little more pop. El King's going to be on the stage this year. And again, everybody knows X's and O's. My 10-year-old daughter's singing all the time. So something for everybody. That's the whole idea. This is going to be the greatest party of the decade. If you were here last year or you've seen the pictures, you had 25,000 people clapping and jumping and just having the time of their life. And, we have food and beverages, all kinds of beverages. This year, we're even going to do a beer garden. We are the home of beer in St. Louis. And not only Anheuser-Busch, but all the other great beers that people like to enjoy. And, 2 days, 28 bands, 18 last year. We upped it by 10 more. And we have some nice local regional bands like Nadine from St. Louis and Uncle Tupelo. But the band now goes under the name of Sunvolt, different people. But again, we always want to give the local bands a shot. Art, culture, diversity, inclusion. It's a place to be, great VIP area. Tickets, I think we're one of the lowest ticket price right now for festivals around town and around the country. So buy early because prices do go up over time when certain sections sell out.
Well, I'm so excited. And I will say most excited about the Killers. I went to the Lou Fest back in the day, right after Lollapalooza, I think it was, took over, and the Killers were a headliner. And here's what's so awesome about the Killers. Brandon Flowers may be relatively small, like he's a short guy, but their personalities, born and bred in Vegas. And if you are a band performing in Vegas, you have to be big. You have to be a spectacle. And to have the Killers on a festival stage, you talk about a band that was made for festivals, a band that doesn't get swallowed up by the other stages or the noises. They are, to this day, that festival concert of the Killers was, I think, the best concert I've ever gone to. I was hula hooping. I had a glow in the dark hula hoop.
Oh, wow.
And I was hula hooping and dancing. And even in the very back, the Killers this projected. I mean, this is going to be the concert of concerts. I mean, it's going to be awesome. All of them are going to be great. This is just my personal favorite.
I agree with you. I mean, they're playing the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace. They are Las Vegas based. He is terrific, as is his partner. But the thing is about the shows this year. Last year was Brandi Carlile, the Black Keys and Black, all great acts and great shows. And some people didn't know some of the acts, like Cautious Clay, or they had heard of Sugar Hill Gang, but they were too young to remember them. It's going to be a bigger, more exciting, more dynamic group of shows than we even had last year. And last year was great. It's not that the bands weren't as good. They were great. It's just, I think the party atmosphere is going to turn up the decibels a lot louder. And I just don't want to see people miss what they said. Oh, Steve, I wish I would have gone last year. Well, here's the next year, because it's not going to be just next year. We're going to keep doing it or keep making it bigger. This is my hometown. I love Forest Park. I was involved with the zoo, as you may know, for many years as the chairman. There's a sculpture right out front of the zoo called the Shankman Family Plaza. To be able to do something I'm not doing festivals anywhere else in the country. Okay, this is it. This is contemporary. This is my partner Joe Litvag from Just Listen. This is Jeff Jarrett, my partner, contemporary, who does the curating of all the artists. This is a team effort of contemporary and Just Listen to bring something to St. Louis that without will be passed over. You wouldn't see the Killers in September because we do have Riverport and the Pageant and Delmar Hall and the Factory. We have some of the greatest venues in the country. But if you don't have a festival, all these acts, Blondie, you're not seeing them in September. They're not coming. So the festival is important. That's why we try to get businesses behind it. A lot of the companies in St. Louis, some of the ones that advertise on your station, Schnucks and AT&T and Lindenwood, and they've all joined us as partners. And partners are important because festivals aren't cheap to put on. But the thing is we have to have this. This completes our venue situation in St. Louis, and we're in the number one park in the country. I mean, how do you get any better than that?
Right. You can't. And okay, I don't think you named this name yet either. This is kind of a deep cut, but just to really drive home the point that there's something for everyone. Pete Yorn. Pete Yorn's also going to be there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been listening to Pete Yorn forever. I have never seen him live. And this is an opportunity to see just this crazy diverse lineup of artists.
He's a folk singer type, right?
Yeah, and genres. And we can go to you can see the Killers and you can see Pete Yorn. Oh, and you can see Jane's Addiction in the best park in the country.
28 bands, over 20 hours of music. And you're right about Pete Yorn. He was the last act that was booked. He was booked last week. We've been trying to get him. He just completes the bill. When you start looking at even some of the bands like Lola Kirk, I mean, you're talking about an artist that is incredibly talented. Sunvolt, I mentioned, one of the more local related bands. But when you look at Robert Finley, here's the guy they found on the street, the Black Keys, and he's one of the greatest blues musicians. He's the oldest guy going to be on stage, except maybe for me. No, maybe about the same age. Anyway, we got blues, we got funk, we got disco, we have a little bit of electronic. It's something for everybody. Why? Even if you don't know some of the acts. Oh, I don't really know Jeff Beck's music. Well, if you're here, you're going to enjoy it. A lot of people have never seen Brandi Carlile until they came to the festival last year. And certainly, Sugar Hill Gang hadn't been around for a long time. That was put together by us because we knew they'd be a great addition. Come out, get your tickets early. Tickets go up. When they sell out of some price, they go up to the new price. We're going to have a big day on Wednesday on ticket sales. We also did a early bird special that ended last night, giving people a chance to buy tickets even less expensive. It's not about how much the tickets are, getting people to come and enjoy themselves. And we'll always try to keep the tickets moderately priced as long as I'm involved with the Evolution Festival. So all I can say is that it's going to be the greatest party of the decade.
You promised last year that I could ride around in the golf cart with you, and I didn't see you. So,
well, you call me. You have my phone number. Right. You call me, and I'll put you on my cart. I'll take you everywhere they let me go, which is not too far.
Done.
All right.
Done. Hey, Steve, real quick before we go, I don't know if do you know yet what the food and beverage lineup is going to be yet, or is that something figured out soon?
No, working on it now. We'll have barbecue. I mean, I'm sitting right in front of Sugar Fire. Probably have lunch there today. So we'll have barbecue, but we'll have hopefully hot dogs and some of those kinds of concessions. But there'll be a lot of upscale foods as well. We're going to move it up just a notch. We got some vendors coming in from out of town that go to all the other festivals in the Midwest. And the beverage, we're going to do a beer tent, because a beer garden was one of the things. We did a survey of 1,000 people, and people asked about a beer tent. We are a beer city, and with all our different kinds of beers and Anheuser-Busch, we want to do things what people want to see. We took a lot of the things that people said last year, and we're using them this year. We have a third entrance now, make it easier for people closer to the parking lots. The third stage was something people asked about. It's not a giant stage, but it's going to be musically programmed all day. And I think we'll be talking about food and that on the next round, probably in a couple of months.
Looking forward to it, Steve. Thanks for visiting with us today.
Thanks for having me.
That is Steve Shankman, president of Contemporary Productions. Tickets go on sale to the general public for Evolution Festival, 10 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. If you want tickets, weekend passes, there are all kinds of different packages that you can hop on if you want to. evolutionfestival.com. evolutionfestival.com. Again, Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. It all goes on sale. I'm looking at Amy Mark's score. She's feeling a whole lot better. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. We got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special and how we can match their price. Great stuff.
Great. And we have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll absolutely guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight from the mine. We have cutters and hey, what the?
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationships with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
McKelvey Homes is celebrating 126 years. Save up to $118,724 on completed market homes, plus special 2-to-1 buy-down financing with rates starting at 4.495% through our partnership with Groundwork Mortgage. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to learn more.
Charlie Brennan with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What can people expect when they visit one of your doctors at the Audiology Center?
Expect a friendly greeting and a waiting room stocked full of refreshments. But more importantly, a patient should expect that they're treated on an individual basis. We are not retail, and we pride ourselves on our medical model. Each hearing aid is catered towards each patient's unique needs. Expect a full history intake where we get to know you and your personal needs. And then we'll complete a full battery of tests where we can adequately diagnose your hearing health. We want you to understand those results right away. So directly following your tests, we're going to go over everything extensively. Finally, at that time, we'll develop a customized treatment plan built around you as an individual.
The Audiology Center, 3 locations in the St. Louis area, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If you have exposed brick or stone in your garage, basement, or fireplace, this is a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. Of course, tuck pointing on the outside of your house is often not possible in the winter, but inside, the Morelli team can keep working 12 months a year. What's tuck pointing? Well, it's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home numerous times. So if you live in a brick or stone home in need of repair, call the company that's received the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back, since 2005. Morelli, the masonry specialists. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. Call 314-645-1387. MorelliTuckPointing.com.
You're all set with your new Navien water heater.
I can't wait to take a shower without running out of hot water. I'm just going to love my Navien tankless water heater. I just want to say
Oh, no need to say that, ma'am. You'll always love Navien's high efficiency that will save you money on gas bills compared to other water heaters.
I love how I have more space with its wall-hanging design. Please let me say
Nope, sorry, miss. I know you appreciate it, but I can't let you say it.
Why not?
Because with Navien, it's a tankless job.
How long you been waiting to use that?
You'd be surprised.
Find a Navien installer near you at tanklessmadesimple.com.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Nearly a century of informing, entertaining, and serving St. Louis. KMOX.
Well, Amy, we know all those olds out there always getting scammed by those professional scammers.
Always scamming the old people.
Always clicking a link or taking a phone call and giving your credit card number over the phone and giving up all your money. And the next thing you know, your identity's gone and you're in jail.
Yeah.
But apparently, Gen Z is extremely susceptible to online scams.
And Gen Z, to clarify, are those born between 1995 and 2012. And they are 3 times as likely to fall for online scams compared to baby boomers.
3 times.
Gen Z.
3 times more likely. This was in a piece from Time Magazine just recently talking about this, that and this all started after there was a financial advice expert who works for an outlet called The Cut. And this person lost $50,000 in a scam. And this was a financial expert or somebody who deemed themselves to be a financial expert, giving financial advice, and lost $50,000 in a scam. So what apparently is happening is they are tailoring their messages to Gen Z. And what's interesting about this is that people who are younger are typically considered to be smarter about electronics, smarter about technology, smarter about being online. But here we find out that they are even more susceptible to being scammed by a professional than people who are baby boomers.
Yeah. And just to play devil's advocate here, because Gen Z is 95 to 2012. Yeah, if you were born in 2012, you could be 11. You're being scammed not because you're not savvy. You're being scammed because you're 11. However, if you're born in 95 or you're born in 2000, then you're talking about 25 to 30-year-olds, which also I thought 95 was still millennial. But for the purposes of this, they're saying 95 starts Gen Z, which was a bigger surprise to me because I honestly thought that was millennial. But at any rate, they're falling for these scams because the younger generation sees ads on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. They fall for it versus older generations. They're generally scammed through email or getting you on the phone, right? That's the grandma, don't answer that phone call. Grandma, don't respond to that email versus Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I've been not scammed. I've they've fished for it, where an Instagram ad will message me, private message me and say, hey, we, love your profile. We'd love for you to be an ambassador for our brand. And the first time I got it, my ego, I guess, kicked in for the first 5 seconds. And I thought, oh my gosh, they love me. They think I'm awesome. And then I realized, no, wait a minute. You're private on Instagram and this is a scam. And now I've gotten like 10 of those. Well, I know of a teenage student got one of those and responded, because if you're a teenager and you get a private message from a company that looks legit, you're thinking, oh, that's awesome. That, I could maybe be an influencer because more Gen Zers want to be influencers and YouTubers than anything else.
Getting a message that says, "Hey, let's collab."
Yeah.
That's the word. So meaning, let's get together and work on something and we can both benefit from it monetarily. And I'm sure the lure of that is pretty good. If, like you said, younger people, they want to be YouTubers, they want to be social media stars. That's the thing now, right? And it is the conventional wisdom is that because you're an older person, you'll take a phone call and this person says, "Hey, I'm so-and-so and I need this and you're in trouble and give me your credit card number and or buy gift cards and then send me, I don't know, $500 worth of Best Buy gift cards. Send that to me." And it's a scam that works out pretty well, but because it is so easy to just click a link. So the message you got, did you report it, by the way?
I hit block and report.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Because it was Instagram direct message.
Yeah. But it is so easy when these messages are tailored to younger people and you appeal to them in that way. It's just very easy to click a link.
Yeah.
There's a lot less effort that goes into that than getting out your wallet, going to get your credit card, having time to think about it and think, wait a minute, why did this person doesn't want my credit card information now? Why would I give it to them? Okay, I'm not doing that. But to click a link is like that.
Yep.
It is so easy to fall into it.
It is. And this is also from that article you referenced in Time. A Pew Research Center report from 2022 found that adults under the age of 30 are almost as likely to trust the information they see on social media as information they learn from national media outlets. And I know a scam is different than news, but what that shows and
It's
what
coming
that
from the same
implies
place.
is it's coming from the same
Right.
place. Online, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it may be, they're not using the same type of skepticism and discretion as you should.
Federal Trade Commission reported $10 billion lost to fraud last year, which is up 14% from the previous year.
I'm as cynical as it gets, and some of these scams look so real that I can't tell, especially like shipping. Your package has been delivered. Wait, what? Is this real? Should I click on this? Did I order something?
I get stuff like that all the time. Don't click a link.
Don't click.
Don't ever click links. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. Let's check in with Cardinals spring training. Matt Pauley is with us next on KMOX.
If you want answers, you've got to ask the right questions.
Michael, this is a great question. And as you know, we do have some budgetary issues.
We question newsmakers and decision makers each night on Total Information PM.
I think you've asked a very, very comprehensive list of questions.
Getting to the heart of the issues.
I work with journalists worldwide. You've researched and know this subject better than anyone.
Reaching for understanding.
You are an objective reporter and you're a great investigative reporter.
We aim to get you to that aha moment every night. I'm Michael Calhoun with Total Information PM at 5 o'clock on KMOX.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over $15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but accelerated debt settlement moves fast. Just call 1-877-314-1342.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-877-314-1342 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-877-314-1342. 1-877-314-1342.
Looking forward to the weekend? Of course you are, because you're going to assemble a 652-part entertainment center that has a 17-page instruction manual with no words. Don't worry if there's too many screws left behind. It's only got to hold your brand new 75-inch flat screen TV. Forget the weekends. Mo Money Mondays are here. New scratchers, new chances to win. every last Monday of the month, only from the Missouri Lottery.
Play responsibly.
Warmer spring weather is right around the corner, and now is the time to plan your home's exterior renovation project. Banner Construction is booking now for homeowners to be first in line for beautiful James Hardy siding and pillow replacement windows. Beat the price increases and plan your project now. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 and get a free in-home design and estimate. 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
At 11:30, we've got clouds and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. NATO has added another member, as CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
Hungary's parliament officially approved Sweden's membership. That clears the last hurdle for Sweden and ends months of delays. It becomes the 32nd member of the alliance after abandoning its policy of non-alignment in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Sweden's membership had been delayed by Turkey and Hungary, which both maintain better relations with Russia. The Highway Patrol arrested a Farmington man for promoting child pornography. The department says they got a cyber tip that 26-year-old Isaac Faulkner distributed files online. He is currently being held in the St. Francis County Jail on a $25,000 bond. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula reports on a stunning charitable donation.
It's one of the largest charitable donations to an educational institution in the United States, and most likely the largest to a medical school. Dr. Ruth Gottsman, a longtime professor at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx in New York City, has donated $1 billion to the medical school. It will provide all students going forward with free tuition. The 93-year-old is a widow of a Wall Street financier. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
This afternoon, mostly sunny, breezy, and warm with record high temperatures. High 82 for tonight, the low 57. Tomorrow, storms develop and moving quickly with a high of 83. Right now, 68 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Cars for Kids Real Estate. Maximize your tax savings in 2024. Donate your property to Cars for Kids. They accept all kinds of real estate. It's simple, and they cover all expenses. Get your tax deduction for the full appraised value of your property at carsforkidsrealestate.org. That's Cars with a K.
With the new year, it's time to make sure you have the best vision for 2024. That means scheduling your annual eye exam with Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000.
Broadcasting from the underlined Three Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
Regulated activities performed by a licensed affiliate.
I had no idea I could sell my life insurance policy.
Norman and Nancy Duggan for Coventry Direct.
We were about to let Norman's policy lapse because premiums have become expensive. Our kids are doing well on their own, so we just don't need it anymore.
Then Nancy called Coventry.
They were so helpful, answering all of our questions.
If you're over 65 and have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify.
After this past year, we're celebrating life. We've booked some long overdue travel, and we're able to pay for our grandkids' college.
Coventry Direct has helped thousands live the life they want to live. Pay for unplanned medical expenses or supplement retirement income. When it comes to selling your life insurance, Coventry has you covered. Call 1-800-561-2600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to learn more about how you can get cash by selling your life insurance. Call 1-800-561-2600.
It's Cardinals spring training baseball today. And say thanks to Miami Marlins. Matt Pauley has the call beginning at noon. And you can hear the game on Cardinals.com.
And they're playing this batter Wynn to pull. Wynn hits it hard, fair inside the third base bag down the left field line as the ball rolls all the way to the wall in the corner. Wynn has a double, and he'll hold up at second base.
How about that? Baseball on the radio, baby. Games over the weekend. We have Grapefruit League Baseball happening right now on KMOX. Not today, but you can hear it primarily on weekends, sometimes nights during the spring training season, which we are in now. And it's time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. We got Matt Pauley, who is our sports fella, and there's baseball today, Matthew. And from what I understand, it will not be on KMOX, but it will be on the website, KMOX.com, or will it be the Cardinals website?
Yeah, Cardinals.com,
Cardinals.com.
MLB.com. The MLB app works as well. Mike Claiborne and myself will have the call of the game with coverage beginning in about 15, 20 minutes at the top of the hour.
So you're doing play-by-play. You ready to go?
I am. I think so. I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
How much? Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
How much do you enjoy it, Matt?
Oh, I love it. It's a blast. It's just being down here, watching these games is amazing. And then the fact that I get to broadcast a few of them, it's pretty darn cool. And then the fact that I'm doing it with Claves, one of my favorite people in the world. It's all perfect.
Is he sitting right next to you? Is that why you said that?
I don't know if he's got he took his earbud out, so he can hear what I'm saying right now.
Okay.
But no, that is not the reason that I said that.
Okay. When you're getting ready to do play-by-play, are you thinking to yourself, please don't screw this up. Please don't screw this up. What are you thinking? What's going on in your mind?
No, if you think that, you will. You just got to be kind of loose and ready to go. It's a little bit different than when I did those regular season games at the end of last season because that was very nerve-wracking, and it was hard to kind of get out of my head on that one. It's a little everything's a little more relaxed down here during spring training, which is good.
Okay, since I did not go to radio school, and you gentlemen did go to radio school, when you do you learn play-by-play? Because it's a really tough skill. Do they teach you certain tenets and then you have to practice on your own, or is this just something that you have to be passionate about on your own and do?
Yeah, I think it's more of that. There was no radio play-by-play class that I went to in college. I was involved in the student radio station, and I did play-by-play on that. And then it's kind of on your own to go find people who can listen to it and give you feedback. I was really lucky because my dad worked in radio for years and years and years. He worked at KMOX in the 60s, and he was probably he's had more of an impact on who I've become as a broadcaster than anybody because he was always willing to give me feedback. And then there's a lot of other people in the world who I've reached out to who have been very gracious with their time and have done the same thing. So it's a lot about just working hard, going back and listening to yourself. I think most people know what's good and what's bad when they listen to it and trying to fix it. So it's a long answer to a short question.
So I'm trying to extrapolate just over the weekend from a weekend's worth of games, Mason Wynn and what he has done. I'm trying to project what the regular season is going to be like. So since he's gotten a hit in every at bat, does that mean that's what's going to happen when the year starts?
Yeah, obviously we're going to get to October and he's still going to be hitting 1,000.
Awesome.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah. MVP.
Yes.
Yeah. So but for real, let's try to project out. What are we expecting from him? Is he going to be a starter this year? What is your expectation?
He's going to be the everyday shortstop. Oliver Marmol has made it very clear that there is zero pressure on him to perform from an offensive standpoint. As long as they look at him and see that he is getting better and progressing at the plate, whether there are results that go along with that, they are fine with it. It's almost seems like he doesn't have to get a hit to be the everyday shortstop for the Cardinals. They're so comfortable with the rest of the lineup and with what he does defensively, impacting the team in a positive way. So anything he does from an offensive standpoint is going to be very much a bonus in terms of the way the Cardinals view him this year.
He's a very intriguing player, and I think the prospect of him is exciting. I know it's difficult to do with a player like this, but let's try to project out 5 years. What kind of player are we talking about in 2031?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because how does his skill set offensively progress moving forward? He showed some power in the minor leagues. I'm not convinced he's going to be a guy that's hitting home runs that often in the big leagues, but can he be a guy that hits for average? Can he be a 260, 270, 280 guy at some point in his career? I think he can. Can he put it down in the gap and get extra bases? He had a double yesterday. I think that's what we're looking like. I would be somewhat surprised if some of the power that he's shown in the minor leagues does come along with him to the big leagues, but I could be wrong on that.
Got a newcomer today who is getting the start for the Cardinals against the Marlins. Again, it's a 12:10 first pitch. Your coverage on Cardinals.com, and I believe there's going to be a link on KMOX.com as well, that you could find it there. But 11:55 your pregame. Let's talk about the starter today.
Yeah, it's Sim Robertson. He came over in the Jordan Hicks trade last year. He's Dutch, and I think everybody's kind of learning things about him right now. It's been interesting talking to Oliver Marmol still very early on in spring training when you talked about some of these guys, especially guys that came over at the deadline last year, whether it's a Thomas Sajaci, a Robertson, a TK Roby. We keep hearing Marmol say, I just want to get my eyes on them because they're being learned. They're a lot of who they are is being seen for the first time from a lot of people here in the organization. What that does for you is at some point, these guys are going to have to help out at the big league level. And it makes you a lot more comfortable as a manager if you've seen him a little bit in spring training, as opposed to bringing him up sight unseen.
Hey, I was at a party with a bunch of Kansas City Royals fans the other day, and they were talking about the massive contract, 11-year contract that Bobby Witt signed with the Royals. And then the conversation turned towards Jordan Walker. And if the Cardinals will go past arbitration and lock him into a long-term deal at a younger age rather than when maybe he might be demanding more money. Do you see something like that going down with a Jordan Walker, or what do you think of that type of approach?
Yeah, it's hard to predict. I like moves like that because you save money in the long run. You're able to buy out some arbitration years, pay them a little bit more during the arbitration years, and then you're able to pay them bluntly a lot less during the free agent years that come up after that. I think we may still be a little early. You look at when it happened for Witt. If we were to apply that timeline to Walker, it would be probably the next offseason that we're talking about, or even the offseason after that. Is it a possibility? Sure. I also wonder, John Mozeliak's going to be done in his job here in 2 years. Is there some feeling to allow the next guy to make those kind of decisions? So I don't think it's an impossibility, but it's probably not something that's on the horizon right now.
I know that that player was, for me, going into last regular season, the most intriguing Cardinal just because of his youth and his ability and everything that we've heard about him. And then even seeing him in person, he's a specimen, man. I mean, he's a big dude, and you think that guy could have a very long career and be a great Cardinal. What do we look for from him in a second season at the big leagues?
Yeah, I think it's just consistency. He's going to be better defensively, and Oliver Marmol will be the first to tell you that when they switched him from one side of the outfield to the other, that it started to click in for him. There's still going to be moments that are not great for him in the outfield, but he's been playing outfield. Last year was his first full year playing outfield. This is a guy who was in high school just a few years ago. So to ask him to play at a really high level, at the big league level, that's tough. He's putting in all the work. He was in Jupiter all off season working. So defensively, it's still going to be a little bit of a work in progress, but I think he's going to be significantly better this year. And then offensively, it's just taking that next step. Can he be a 2020 guy? He's talked openly about he's got the goal of hitting 30 home runs this year. Just those type of things, and even the stuff that doesn't show up on the baseball card numbers. But the Cardinals are very they realize how important this guy is to the organization moving forward. So from a launch angle standpoint and from a hard hit rate standpoint, just all those things that you kind of get into the advanced numbers on, they want those to be moving in the right direction as well.
What's the atmosphere like in the ballpark today? Give me the temperature. I want to know how it feels. Right now it's 70 something degrees in St. Louis. So how are we looking today?
75, sunny. There's a bit of a breeze coming in. This is technically a Marlins home game today.
Yeah.
So it always feels, they run the stadium operation when they've got the home game, and it's a little bit different when they do it. So not a lot of people here at the moment. We're guessing most people who do make their way in will be Cardinals fans, but it definitely feels like a wonderful day for spring training baseball.
Who does it better, Cardinals or Marlins?
You don't even need to ask that question.
Okay, I'm just seeing what you're...
It's a world apart, and yes, it's the Cardinals.
It's a world apart. Wow. Look at us. We're doing great.
Yes.
What's going to be your opening line of the broadcast? And
I
do,
have
do,
no
you, do you have
clue.
your home run call in the tank ready to go?
I don't do a home run call. I think all the great home run calls have already been taken, so I don't do one.
Here,
wow.
try this one out today. Okay, if a Cardinal hits a home run, you'll say there's a fly ball into left field. I don't know where it went. I can't see
tomorrow
it.
night. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
So the
Yeah,
only
thanks for
time I've
stepping on
ever
my
done
call,
one,
Amy. Don't
a
do what Amy
buddy
just
of
did.
mine-
She's
Such a bad call. I
you
thought
don't even
were
know
done.
because you talked over it. Don't talk over it.
Don't.
It was a great call. Try it out, Matt. Just like long fly ball to left. I don't know where it went. I can't see it. Try
that could work. The closest thing I've ever had to it, a buddy got me. There's a Kevin Hart stand-up routine where he says, "Say it with your chest," and a buddy of mine got me to say it with your bat once as my home run call, and it did not come off well. And it was at that moment that I realized, you know what, this just isn't me. You got to be true to who you are.
Well, Matt, good luck today. I think it's going to be a great broadcast.
Thanks.
There you
I'll
go.
say it with my bat.
Yeah.
Say it with your bat. Matt Pauley, thank you. Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne have the call of Cardinals baseball. If you want to listen online, you can do that, KMOX.com. And right at the top of the page, there is a link that will send you there to listen to the Cardinals today. And actually, well, I don't know. We might dip in tomorrow. Maybe we have to kind of work it out, but we might dip into Sonny Gray's
Sonny Gray.
start tomorrow. Is his he'll probably get an inning or two. So we're gonna at least give you a little taste of baseball tomorrow, maybe.
Love it. I did turn
Maybe.
I turned on KMOX on Saturday and heard Cardinals baseball. It's just the best. It's the best sound. The say it with your bat not coming off well. the show Arrested Development.
Yeah,
you've seen it.
great.
Yeah, and it's the scene where I guess who's the main character?
Michael?
Michael is trying to break up with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, "It's been great knowing you." Not. He was like, I was trying to think of something a little bit sharper to say, a little bit less dated, but that was his big comeback was not.
So that show, critically acclaimed, and the people who watched it loved it, and maybe a little better than a cult following, but it did not do well in ratings.
Yeah.
One of the explanations I've heard, because you always think, well, this show's so good, why are more people not watching it? Are we that stupid that we're not watching it? And one of the explanations I heard was it was the kind of show that to really appreciate it, you really needed to start watching from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So you couldn't pick it up, midway through season 2 because there's a lot of callbacks.
It's all callbacks and about character development, which to this day is why you need to watch The Office. The character development of that show, it's the very same cadence, the awkward pauses, I forgot what the type of film cinematography is called, but just the camera angles is just set up.
Yeah.
It looks like you're almost a Big Brother feeling with the camera angles. And so, yeah, you would like The Office.
And you contrast that with a Seinfeld, for example, which I did not start watching until probably 4 or 5 seasons in.
Yeah.
I just didn't appeal to me. And then I started watching, and you didn't need to be with it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like you could pick it up in the middle of a season and kind of get what was going on.
Okay, this is I know we got to go, but now that we're talking about camera angles and just cameras being set up, I forgot what that is called. But having been sick and spending a lot of time in bed, I mentioned that I started watching The Bear. Well, there's also a movie, I didn't watch it, but I watched the trailer and then I watched several specials about how they made the film. Did you see The Zone of Interest?
No, I don't
my
think it's not streaming yet, is it?
Yeah, you can buy it.
It is, okay.
You can buy it.
Okay.
And so I think it was Friday night. We were going to watch it and I thought, I don't
It's
know.
in German, right? Or is it?
It is. It's all
okay,
subtitles.
so it's subtitled. All right.
But it is the true story of the guy that ran Auschwitz and his house, which was backed up, the garden, the pool backed up to the walls of Auschwitz. And it feels like a horror film because there's a constant sense of dread, but they never show anything. No, that's how they.
Oh, because I've seen
that's the trailer.
There's one scene that has been I don't know, probably Twitter or something. I've watched it, and they're just kind of walking through the garden.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say they
you
never
can
show
hear
anything because I didn't watch it, but go
you
ahead.
see the building on the other side of the wall, and you hear what's going on inside, and it is very
it's
haunting.
shocking because the director said it's because you are watching one movie, but hearing another. Because again, and this is what the director says at the beginning, they don't go into Auschwitz, but you know it's right there. And he patterned the garden historically accurate to how this guy, this Nazi commander, how his house was. And they just raised their kids. And he said he did it because he wanted to show the capacity of evil for humans. Like, because we always want to other and say, well, they were extra bad. We could never be that bad. And he said, no, we can be that. That's how
it could happen again.
That's how bad it is. Yeah.
It could.
And so I want to see it. I'm going to. I just didn't dive in on Friday because obviously it's a very heavy theme.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
Missing this?
Goldschmidt swings and he hits the ball left field. That's deep down the line, and it's a goner.
The Cardinals' 2024 season is about to begin.
Hi, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, covering Cardinals spring training.
Matt's got everything you need to know.
With reports mornings and afternoons and Sports Open Line weeknights from the T.R. Hughes Homes Broadcast Center.
Cardinals spring training coverage sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Wilkie Window and Door, and Norm's Bargain Bar.
On the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Hi, Little Bob here. We're turning President's Day into President's Days, spotlighting new choices every day in February at Bob's Discount Furniture. You can choose from 12 $9.99 sofa love seat combos, $5.99 dining sets with tons of options, and 9 complete queen bedroom sets for only $9.99. Flexible financing options available. Subject to credit approval, ask for details. When you get a different choice every day in February, there's only one thing to say. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $20 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-973-3097, and you are guaranteed a $20 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3097. Call now and you will receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3097 now to secure your $20 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3097.
15 years ago, we were adding on to our home. And so I convinced Sean we should update the kitchen.
We did some research and we decided to go with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Their reputation was phenomenal. To design, do the construction and the finish work, what we wanted was what we got from start to finish. So fast forward 15 years, our family's changed. We've gotten bigger.
There just wasn't the space in the kitchen anymore. People were banging into each other.
We decided 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Here's the problem. What are our solutions? Comparing working with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath 15 years ago Today, their ability to design what you want was the same.
Everything has been what I want.
The quality of 3D Kitchen and Bath, I think, is phenomenal. The countertops and the cabinets that they use are great. They were just good guys doing good work.
For more about your new kitchen or bath, visit 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
I see clearly now, thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry. You can too. Go to youridoc.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors on KMOX.
Amy, I told this story during the Dave Glover hour last week. Did I tell you? I did not tell you. So I go to this clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to name the name.
Okay.
And I'm not going to name the type of restaurant that's next door. But I go in and I said, I bought a couple of things and I bring them up to the counter to pay for them. And the dude working, he just says randomly to me, he goes, "Hey, thanks for waiting," because there were people in front of me. And then he says, "Were you at the restaurant next door?" I said, "No." I said, "Why? Is it good or something?" I didn't know why he asked me. And he goes, "I had the worst food poisoning of my life there." I'm like,
"Oh my gosh."
Okay. So why did he volunteer that?
I don't know.
And does he say it to everybody who comes in? Is there a person working at this clothing store that every time somebody comes into the store, he says, "Hey, that restaurant next door, don't go there"?
Did he seem like maybe he was interested in you? You know what I mean? Like, was he trying to flirt?
Could be.
Maybe he was trying to flirt and then realized this is a terrible opening
Well, if he
line.
was, I'll tell you what, I'm flattered.
Well, also, but don't flirt with a food poisoning line. You know what I mean?
Worst food poisoning of my life. I'm like, all right. Guess I'm not going there. Hey, we got the recap. If you've missed anything, just tuned in, well, baby, we'll tell you what that's been. That's coming up. Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
Have you ever been sitting around or driving like you're probably doing right now? Man, I think I need a new furnace or an air conditioner. Have you? I mean, I think about you thinking about it all the time. Regardless of what's going on right now with the economy and with these mandates and the prices going absolutely crazy, I would have to say, without a question, the best time to buy is actually right now. No gimmicks, no tricks. 5 years, no interest on a furnace and air conditioner. Get your prices, get your quotes, get your monthly payments, and then call me and buy now to where you can make your choice and you can still get the so-called inefficient models. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, and your only number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
There's one box that you'd run back into your burning house to grab. It's the box filled with your videotapes, film reels, and photos. Those sentimental, meaningful, irreplaceable moments. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago so that we could help families save their memories from being destroyed by floods or fires.
And it's not just natural disasters, Adam. Every day, videotapes and photos are slowly fading away, decaying, neglected in closets and attics.
Digitizing your old media stops fading, and preserving those recordings means they are safe forever. It's like magic, converting your shoebox of memories into digital files, ready to watch and share.
It's the only way to ensure your legacy is safe for generations. That's why over 1 million families have already trusted Legacy Box. Legacy Box is simple and easy, it works, and is safe. We'd love to preserve your family's collection. Don't wait, the risk is too great.
Visit legacybox.com/value to save 50%. That's legacybox.com/value to get started and save. LegacyBox.com/value.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The voice of the Billikens, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Every 2 weeks, you get a paycheck. Let's face it, you actually count on that paycheck and you plan your life around it. But what happens in retirement? Well, that's where Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group come in. They can show you by creating a custom retirement plan and show you how you can create a guaranteed income stream for retirement. Find out more about guaranteed income in retirement and attend one of our upcoming events on March 5th or March 7th at Cooper's Hawk. These events are complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services offered through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor firm. All Insurance Group, LLC, and IPW are not affiliated firms. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's partly cloudy and 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Cease and desist letters are sent to 3 St. Louis County schools from Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, claiming race and religious discrimination.
Bailey says Webster Groves is going against the Civil Rights Act of 1964, making race a basis in their hiring decisions. In a statement sent to KMOX, the Webster Groves School District says, quote, it has not and will not discriminate against anyone in hiring based upon the person's race, end quote. It went on to say the district is interested in having a diverse faculty to serve as educators to our diverse student population and is willing to take the effort to attract, support, and retain that staff. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The Supreme Court is considering the content social media companies should be allowed to delete or block based on policy restrictions. The cases are being brought by Republican attorneys general in Texas and Florida. Both states argue that the companies suppress and filter conservative viewpoints. Attorney Paul Clement represents NetChoice for the tech companies.
It's one thing to say, well, they're only getting the big companies, but when the governor's telling you we're going after the viewpoints of the Silicon Valley oligarchs, then all of a sudden limiting it to the biggest companies starts to tell you that this is targeted like a laser beam at the companies that they don't like the editorial discretion that was being exercised.
The White House will be headed to the southern border in Texas this week. CBS News White House reporter Bo Erickson.
President Biden will travel to the U.S. southern border on Thursday, stopping in Brownsville, Texas, to meet with Border Patrol agents and local leaders. This will be the president's second trip to the U.S. southern border and comes after months of record-high migration at the southern border. The White House says President Biden in Texas will push for Congress to pass the bipartisan border security funding agreement, which could allow for more Border Patrol agents, asylum officers, and drug detection technology. Bo Erickson, CBS News, the White House.
A new ride could be coming to Union Station.
The spokesperson tells KMOX they are in the early stages of planning to add a wave swing to go along with their carousel and Ferris wheel. No dates have been set, but the preliminary plan is to construct the wave swing in 2025 and have it open that same year. The topic was set to come up at a St. Louis Planning and Urban Design meeting, but was pulled to allow more time for planning. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The KMOX business desk, a merger between two of the biggest grocery store chains, is being blocked over antitrust concerns. Business reporter Jason Brooks.
The U.S. Federal Trade Commission announced it's suing to block Kroger's $24.6 billion acquisition of Albertsons due to concerns the merger would fuel additional grocery price hikes for everyday goods, increasing the strain on already financially stretched consumers. The FTC also said essential grocery store workers would suffer under the deal because of the threat of diminishing wages and benefits, as well as deteriorating working conditions. Kroger last year attempted to placate regulators by selling more than 400 stores, but the FTC says that sale would not result in a true rival to the combined Kroger and Albertsons.
Kroger and Albertsons initially announced the deal in October 2022, saying they could better compete against the likes of Walmart and Amazon. Allergy Report is sponsored by Zero Res. Call Zero Res today and get 3 rooms cleaned starting at $119. Tree count is in the moderate level. Mold count is in the low level.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and very warm with record-breaking temperatures this afternoon. We'll see a high of 82 degrees and partly cloudy, breezy, and remaining mild tonight with a low of 57. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brandon Buckingham on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Sachs Financial, 71 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A goal without a plan is just a wish. To get started on your retirement income plan, call Sachs Financial today and live your best life now and in retirement. Sachs Financial, the home of the retirement compensation plan at retiresafestl.com.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kids' best summer yet at St. Louis University. Time to rewind. It's the Chris and Amy Rewind Recap.
Well, here's what you missed. Amy just said something really bad about a person, and now Michael Calhoun's going to go tell them.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I said something funny about someone with a funny name.
And Michael is going to tell that person.
Is going to be a snitch, baby.
Yep. Well, you deserve it.
I didn't do anything wrong. All right.
So we start
recap the show.
We started
I'm
the
back.
show. We started the show because over the weekend was the first MLS game for City SC, ended in a tie, and they tied it like right at the end of the game. They were about to lose and they tied it. So a pretty exciting moment. It was my first City Park game, first time I've been inside City Park for any reason whatsoever. The place is as beautiful as what they tell you, and the atmosphere is as fun as everything we have heard. I loved it.
And what he is telling you is to go get tickets to
That's
a
right.
City game because it's unbelievable. Also, I had a first this morning. A horrible driver, a panic merger. You know who I'm talking about, the people that are on the entrance ramp coming onto the highway, and all they're thinking is, gotta get over, gotta merge. And this person in a gray minivan with a short haircut and eyeglasses just merged like right into my car. So I laid on the horn. They pulled back over and then started to merge again. So I laid on the horn and I was livid. It was just west of Kings Highway on eastbound 40. And I just was yelling, what are you doing? What in the world are you doing? And I'm gesturing with my arms and I look over and that person is yelling because now this person has merged two more lanes. So I'm looking out the driver's side window. That person's yelling and gesturing and we made direct eye contact and we were both yelling and gesturing, and that has never happened to me before in my life.
Texter wants to know if that car was giving you, that the person in the other car was giving you the "you're number one" gesture.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
They
Neither
didn't?
of us were. No, it was just like almost like the Italian chef in the movies, like, hey, what are you doing? And like throwing the hands in the air, like the back of our hands. I could see the back of their hand. They could see the back of my hand. What are you doing?
Well,
yeah.
So what what's happened here is Amy has become a real person because she's finally had
Here's what it is.
road rage.
You know what it is? It's COVID has made me crabby. I had extreme fatigue with this round of COVID. I've had it before, never had fatigue like this before, and it has made me irritable. I think that's what it is. I'm very fatigued.
Well-
It's actually pretty depressing. So I could use some words of encouragement because you do start to feel like this is my new life. This is my existence now.
Yeah, you're going to be okay. It's just going to take a little bit of time
I
and
had
you'll
a
be
doctor
okay.
say you might never be the same.
There you go.
Like,
I don't
well,
believe him.
Like you may never get back, this could be long COVID. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I cried. I cried on the way home from the doctor. That was depressing.
You're going to be okay.
I don't know.
You got to believe, Amy.
I think I'm going to apply for this Mars simulation.
Not bad.
NASA, just FYI, looking for 4 people to live in a Mars simulator for 1 year.
But you have to have a STEM degree.
Well,
Is that what it is?
probably.
Well, I don't have that.
I don't have a degree.
Yeah, you can't go. We also discussed Nikki Haley, who got beaten pretty badly by President Trump, former President Trump, a 20-point loss, which was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still, it's a pretty decided loss in your home state. But she is not going to drop out. She is losing Coke industry money, however, which
yeah,
is
they dropped her.
They've dropped her, which is a problem, but she says she's going to stick with it until it is over. But I would think, looking at that result, which we all expected, it pretty much is over for her.
Yeah. No, and this could be a long game where she's thinking, hey, in 4 years, I'm going to run again and I'm going to be the candidate that didn't give up, didn't drop out. She could also be, pushing for this you never know. I mean, if an act of God or Trump's in jail, I'm not sure. Maybe they need to have a number 2. But Nikki Haley is still in it, plans on being in the race at least until March 5th. You mentioned the Koch brothers, Koch money. They have dropped her. They're not supporting Trump. They're just focusing on Congress now.
And you mentioned some pretty startling, though not entirely surprising numbers from the exit poll.
So CNN had some exit polls from the South Carolina primary, and when it came to white evangelical Christians, 75% voted for Trump, 24% voted for Nikki Haley. Everyone else, 51% Haley, 49% Trump. I think it's frustrating. I've talked about this with my friends who, some of my friends who are true Christians as well. I say that because sometimes people just use the title Christian. They'll say, well, I'm not Jewish, I'm not atheist, I'm not Muslim, I must be Christian because we went to church, right? And it's more of an umbrella versus an actual real dedicated faith, which generally was the title evangelical Christian was limited to that. But this is very interesting, very frustrating that Donald Trump has such a stronghold on that group. It is confounding to me how he was able to stranglehold that group, or that group was able to give them their fealty so wholly. I don't know. But Donald Trump, well, he had some more interesting quotes recently. I guess now would be as good a time as any to look at what he had to say at CPAC when he was speaking to the groups there.
And then I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. But we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing.
Okay. I'm a little bit at a loss for words with how distasteful, gross, and ignorant those comments are.
I don't know. It's you don't think very much of a group of people if that's what's in your mind. If you're thinking, well, they like me because they have mugshots, so I have mugshots, so we're the same. You know, you clearly don't think very much of them if that's what you're saying.
And also,
it's insulting their intelligence, too.
It's insulting their intelligence. It is indicative of, I think, prejudice against Black people in the United States. Also, it trivializes the history of discrimination against Black people in the United States in the same way that when Donald Trump compared himself to Navalny, it trivialized what Navalny went through. There are, again, multiple layers of why this is an ignorant comment. But when Trump had talked about being unfairly persecuted or discriminated against, and then likening himself to someone,
a political prisoner
who died in prison at the hands of a war criminal and a dictator in Vladimir Putin, or comparing yourself to a population that in their history were enslaved in the United States of America, and Donald Trump living in his gilded towers saying, I know what it's like to be discriminated against.
The problem with that is most people with sense don't believe that. I think if you have any sense, you don't believe that. But there are a lot of people who do, who think he is a legit, that this is all political and they're just trying to put him in jail. Look, or they're trying to get him off the ticket. The Biden campaign believes that he's the best shot of winning. That if Trump is the nominee, they think they're going to win. So the last thing they would want to do is let Haley get the nomination, because there's a better chance that she beats him than Trump would beat him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make any sense. By the way, did you see the Navalny story from earlier today? The reporting that he was 1 day away, potentially, from being freed in a prisoner swap.
I did not.
So there were Americans allegedly involved in this swap, and Germany was involved in this, but he was 1 day away from that, according to this reporting. And I guess the thought is the Kremlin didn't really want him to be part of that prisoner swap. And so the thinking is that they just eliminated that possibility. So it's really, I mean, that's a huge report.
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
again,
it's not surprising at all.
No, and it's really sobering when you look back that it has been 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. I mean, I remember talking about that, and of course it harkens back to how long it's been when I say that I first had that discussion with Charlie Brennan.
Yeah.
Charlie Brennan and I were talking about the actions of Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine, and for the people in Ukraine, it's easy for us to get distracted and go, oh yeah, that's still going on. For the people in Ukraine, this is their every single day is being under attack by the Russian military and Vladimir Putin, a dictator who longs for the reestablishment of the Soviet Union.
We spent some time today talking about Evolution Festival, which is coming back to St. Louis, and the president of Contemporary Productions, Steve Shankman, joined the show.
Talk about iconic. Blondie crosses all genres of music and fashion. I mean, just totally iconic. And to have Blondie on this stage, kind of keeping with what we did last year, some new, some old, some historic, some iconic, and some just great music.
Yeah, the Killers are going to be part of this show. Beck, Jane's Addiction, Blondie, Killer Mike is going to be there, Elle King, Pete Yorn. So it's a big lineup September 28th and 29th in Forest Park, and tickets will be on sale Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, evolutionfestival.com.
Is Killer Mike not in jail anymore? Remember how he got arrested right after the Grammys?
Yeah, I don't think he's in jail.
He just got arrested.
Yeah, I don't even know what it was. Was it
I don't know.
DUI or something?
I don't know. All I know is he won multiple Grammys, and he got arrested.
I did not follow the story
Yeah, I
very
didn't
closely.
either. So I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, he'll perform. He's not in prison.
But that's the last thing you hear is he won Grammys, he got arrested, but then
Well,
he'll be performing. He's fine.
Tweeted 16 minutes ago, so I don't think he's in prison.
No.
So
No.
also, hey, baseball, Matt Pauley joined the show. Mason Wynn had a really nice debut going 3 for 3. And what's going to happen with Mason this season?
He's going to be the everyday shortstop. Oliver Marmol has made it very clear that there is zero pressure on him to perform from an offensive standpoint. As long as they look at him and see that he is getting better and progressing at the plate, whether there are results that go along with that, they are fine with it. It's almost seems like he doesn't have to get a hit to be the everyday shortstop for the Cardinals. They're so comfortable with the rest of the lineup and with what he does defensively, impacting the team in a positive way. So anything he does from an offensive standpoint is going to be very much a bonus in terms of the way the Cardinals view him this year.
An exciting young player. The Cardinals have a few of those. Jordan Walker, of course, will be in his second season with the club. Mason Wynn coming back as well. He spent some time with the team last year, so really looking forward to seeing how he develops. By the way, the Cardinals are playing the Marlins in another Grapefruit League game, first inning. There's no score. Just thought I'd let you know that. Spring training baseball is happening right now, baby.
And we're going to dip into
I
Sunny
think.
Gray. We think
Tomorrow, there are a lot of moving parts, and if we're going to air some of the broadcasts, we kind of have to shift things around. So we'll know more about it, but you might get to hear at least some baseball tomorrow on KMOX. It's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. When we come back, hey, we've got stuff to talk to you about. And, we're going to let Amy set it up. And when we come back, we're going to do that on KMOX.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If you have exposed brick or stone in your garage, basement, or fireplace, this is a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. Of course, tuck pointing on the outside of your house is often not possible in the winter, but inside, the Morelli team can keep working 12 months a year. What's tuck pointing? Well, it's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home numerous times. So if you live in a brick or stone home in need of repair, call the company that's received the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back, since 2005. Morelli, the masonry specialists. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. Call 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
All the news and all that matters to you. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Well, we haven't yet addressed this, Raj.
Yeah.
But it seems the country has. There was the controversial ruling in the Alabama Supreme Court regarding IVF. And a lot of the headlines basically say the Supreme Court rules that embryos in IVF treatment are children. I think there are multiple layers to this story, and I do think it shows just how much a lot of people, and even especially a lot of people on the pro-life side, haven't perhaps sussed out what exactly they believe about conception, when life begins, pro-life, IVF, and so forth. I looked more into IVF in this past week than I've ever looked into it because it was something that I think you kind of take for granted that, this is science being used to help people who want to to build families, to have families. A woman to get pregnant if she can't get pregnant for whatever reason. And what we're seeing, though, with this ruling in Alabama, it's really started this whole storm across the country of people worrying and stopping IVF treatment. I think 3 facilities in Alabama have, because they're afraid, oh my gosh, are these embryos considered children? I think it's important. The Alabama Supreme Court did not say embryos are children. What they did say was that the extrauterine embryos fell under the protection in this Alabama law that talks about unborn children. And the dissent said, well, extrauterine embryos have to be explicitly included in the law. And the majority said, well, I think extrauterine embryos have to be explicitly excluded from the law. So it was more of like, do they fall under this unborn child rule? Because they're different states, right? We know that embryo becomes a child. At the same time, oh man, did this open up a Pandora's box of questions of what we regard to be life or to be a child or not. Because one person said, well, there's an embryo, right, which a lot of people consider the point of conception, but in a non-assisted pregnancy, you're not pregnant until the embryo implants in the uterus, right? So you have fertilized embryos that don't implant, so you're never pregnant. So would you consider the embryo a child in a case in the freezer, but not if it doesn't implant?
All this
You know what I mean?
That's the issue. And I think
it's like, because you would never say
yeah.
a woman's pregnant if it didn't implant, because if the moment of conception is when it's fertilized, well, okay, it's fertilized, but it can be fertilized and not implant, which means she's never pregnant.
It's not the same thing, but the problem that has been created in the last 2 years by a lot of these decisions, starting with the Dobbs decision and now stuff like this, though they're not the same situation, the problem that's been created is that healthcare providers in some places are afraid to provide healthcare because they don't know if they're going to get in trouble for it. And all they have done, people who are on that side of the issue, have caused this confusion. And you have situations where, you've got people who have these pregnancies that are literally going to potentially kill them or cause severe problems otherwise, severe problems with their health, but they can't get the treatment. They can't get the pregnancy taken care of because doctors are afraid to perform the procedures. And they are told things like, come back if you start to bleed out, or come back if you go into sepsis.
And I think it's
which is all this is done is create that confusion.
But see, I think it's deeper than that, because I think the confusion is several steps down the road from the initial source of the confusion, which is we have no idea what we believe when it comes to what is life and what are the medical or moral ethics of IVF, of sperm donors.
Yeah.
Should a guy be able to be the father of 300 children?
Me personally, embryo's not a baby. It's not a child.
But don't you see how this
it's an
is
embryo.
like, it gets into a bigger conversation?
Yes.
It's so unregulated. We've got 1 million embryos frozen. We have guys donating 300, sperm, so there's 300 kids. Something feels like our ethics, we haven't established ethics, and that lack of establishment, that lack of foundation has created chaos.
Chris and Amy on KMOX.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks. Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tool since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at yourheartcomesfirst.com. That's yourheartcomesfirst.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The hits are bigger, the breaks faster, the shots harder. When every point counts, this is a performance you have to see live. Get a St. Louis Blues Stretch Run Pack and claim your seat at Enterprise Center for all home games March 2nd through the end of the season, plus 2024 playoff purchase priority. Pack highlights include Decades Patch Hat Giveaway Night, 6 weekend games, and a matchup against Chicago. Get caught up in the rhythm when you purchase a Stretch Run Pack at stlouisblues.com/tickets.
At 12:30, partly cloudy, 74 degrees downtown at the Arch.
This just in.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is investigating an officer-involved shooting in the 400 block of Montauk near Festus. As deputies were serving an arrest warrant, the subject of the warrant allegedly assaulted members of the sheriff's office. The man was shot and transported from the scene for medical care. No deputies were injured in the incident. There have been more strikes from Houthi rebels in the Red Sea, as CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
Houthi rebels fired a missile that missed the U.S.-flagged oil tanker Torm Thor. It impacted the water but caused no damage to the ship. The vessel is being used as part of the U.S. government's tanker security program to assist oil shipments in the area. It had a military escort when it was targeted.
Tonight on Total Information PM at 5.
Tonight, ahead of Michigan's primary, why so many Democrats there say they're uncommitted for Biden. Then, cracking down on equipment fueling the opioid epidemic. And the landmark Supreme Court case that could change what you see on social media on the CBS Evening News.
And the forecast from AccuWeather could be record-breaking this afternoon, high 82 degrees. For tonight, the overnight low 57. For tomorrow, breezy, warm with a mix of clouds and sun and a couple of late-day thunderstorms, a high temperature of 83. Right now, downtown at the Arch, it's a partly cloudy sky, 74. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Now, a Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by Wilkie Window and Door, Norm's Bargain Barn, and St. Louis Composting. On your home of the St. Louis Cardinals, KMOX.
Grapefruit League play continues today for the Cardinals as they're currently playing the Marlins. One of the top pitching prospects, Tico Arobi, was supposed to pitch for the Cardinals today, but he's dealing with some back tightness, so he's not on the mound. Instead, Sim Robertson is the initial outgetter today for St. Louis. Manager Oliver Marmol has enjoyed getting to know him.
I've enjoyed my conversations with him. He's mature. He's able to verbalize exactly what he's feeling, and it's been good to, after he comes out, just kind of have a conversation. He says, man, I really had a feel for this. This is what it feels like coming out. So he's been really good about just actually being able to have a conversation and explain things. So personality-wise, I've enjoyed my time with him.
Robertson came to the Cardinals in the Jordan Hicks trade last year. With the Cardinals spring training report in Jupiter, Florida, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The first new brick-and-mortar standalone Genesis showroom in Missouri is about to open, and you will have to see it to believe it. It is luxury at its finest in St. Charles County. As we anxiously await the official opening, you can still purchase your Genesis today at St. Charles Hyundai. And right now, there's a $1,000 incentive on the 2024 GV80 through the end of the month. It's Genesis of St. Charles, a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, or online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Regulated activities performed by a licensed affiliate.
I had no idea I could sell my life insurance policy.
Norman and Nancy Duggan for Coventry Direct.
We were about to let Norman's policy lapse because premiums have become expensive. Our kids are doing well on their own, so we just don't need it anymore.
Then Nancy called Coventry.
They were so helpful, answering all of our questions.
If you're over 65 and have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify.
After this past year, we're celebrating life. We've booked some long overdue travel, and we're able to pay for our grandkids' college.
Coventry Direct has helped thousands live the life they want to live. Pay for unplanned medical expenses or supplement retirement income. When it comes to selling your life insurance, Coventry has you covered. Call 1-800-561-2600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to learn more about how you can get cash by selling your life insurance. Call 1-800-561-2600.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hello, everyone. This is Mike Claiborne.
And this is Matt Pauley inviting you to follow the Redbirds this offseason on the Cardinals Countdown to Opening Day show presented by Ameren.
Thursday night at 6 on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals.
KMOX.
It's a Chris and Amy show on KMOX. There is a program, Amy, that is happening in the St. Louis area teaching young people, people in high school, how to properly handle a situation in which they're having a contact with police so that things don't escalate and get out of control. To talk about that with us, Kimberly St. Clair is on the Quiver River Electric guest line, owner and president of DocDash. MyDocDash.com is the website. We've got Kimberly with us now on KMOX. We appreciate your time, Kimberly. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
We are doing okay. So explain to us what the program is, where it's happening, and then we'll get into the successes of it so far.
Well, thank you for having me. So DocDash, it's an organizational communication system that I invented and patent that works with police officers and motorists during traffic stops and medical emergencies. And it allows motorists a proactive opportunity to communicate any non-visible situation, circumstances, or disability while simultaneously displaying all the state-required motor vehicle documents. And I've been invited here to the Normandy High School to roll out this program and teach the curriculum of protocols to police engagement.
Yeah, and it's such a good idea and so necessary on multiple levels. I mean, personally, just me, if you get pulled over by a cop, it's a stressful situation anyway. And I think for kids, knowing, okay, I'm going to interact with a cop, if they don't know what could be perhaps emotion or an attitude or response that could escalate the situation more quickly, that's a very difficult situation to be in. So how do you start with students? What do you tell them about interacting with police officers?
Well, first of all, I take the criminal element out of it and let them know that being stopped by the police is not a criminal act, and I think they feel like it's a criminal act. Making a mistake doesn't make you a criminal. It makes you human. So you may have run the red light and you may have gone too fast, but it doesn't make you a criminal. And I've learned that when I kind of take that out of the equation and give them a broader perspective into the historical perspective of traffic stops and why police pull you over, and creating an atmosphere of safety for everyone, a lot of them are like, wow, I never thought about how a police would feel. I never thought about how, it looks through the eyes of police officers. So when you bring it from a perspective of unifying people through safety, I find that they don't take it so personal and they feel more empowered by the process.
So that's something I guess would be very important for younger people to understand in their interactions with police, that just because you are getting pulled over for, running a red light or going a little too fast or whatever it is, it does not mean that they are taking you straight to jail, which
exactly.
I could see some people thinking that's what's next, that's the next logical step.
Absolutely. And if you really understand, if you really see the disservice that these negative images on social media has taught us, if that's all the only experience that you have to live vicariously through, people are terrified of the police. They're absolutely terrified. And when I do a survey, like how many people have had negative experiences by the police, 99.9% of the children have not had a situation but because they've seen it, because they've had relatives that's experienced some situations with the police, or because they've seen these negative things on television, they automatically are coming to the relationship with this kind of impression. And so my goal is to break that impression. My goal is to unify us through protocols of safety, both for police and civilians, because listen, the police are just as in danger as civilians. And so they are a member of our community. And so I want I want to bridge more of a adversarial relationship as opposed to, a more of an ally relationship as opposed to police being looked upon as adversaries of our community.
I think it's interesting what you say, because generally speaking about a lot of different issues, I don't know that people do a good enough job of putting themselves into somebody else's position. So
exactly.
When you say you have students who never even considered the possibility that a police officer walking up to the car or about to have an interaction is also potentially in danger, they never really considered that before.
They've never considered that before. And so when we talk about just behaviors that you can do to create an environment of safety, it all makes sense. And what I have learned is that it's not that people don't want to do it. They've never been taught to do it. They've never been taught to do it. Everybody wants to be safe. Everybody wants to go home. No one, and I tell the children over and over again, you're not a criminal. You're not being stopped because you're a criminal. You're being stopped because maybe your taillights are out and you didn't know about it. And so you have nothing to hide. And so we're not going to behave or even feel like we have anything to hide. And so I really teach them to create an atmosphere of transparency and compliance, so that I feel like if the police officers feel safe, then the whole traffic stop is going to go safe.
Yeah, I know with my parents, when I started to drive, they would always say, if you get pulled over, keep your hands on the steering wheel and say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, yes, sir, hands on the steering wheel, and then just do what they, ask you to do. With your class, I read that you start each class with sunglasses on and a hoodie, and then start from there. Can you explain what you're doing with that and what you're telling the kids?
Because I want people to understand they have a lot more control over some of the outcomes that happen. And when we make certain decisions in terms of how we show up, it really does dictate how sometimes how the outcome of situations are going to go. And so I start out like that on purpose. Like, they've not seen me before, and they come in and I start teaching the class, and I let them know that whether we say it or not, ideas and people's perceptions are being made. I said, and whether you say anything or not, you're already judging me on the fact that I've come in here and I'm not following any protocols to engagement. Like, it's proper protocols to take my glasses off. You're not looking at my feet when you talk to me. You're trying to see my eyes. And if you can't see my eyes, if I haven't thought enough of you to take my glasses off and take my hat off, it says something about my character. And when you are meeting a police officer or anyone, you may not ever see them again. So we want to make sure that we're showing up and demonstrating the person you want them to see you as. So I talk to them about, let's take the hood off. Let's take the glasses off when you are about to have an interaction with anyone. And then after you're done, put the hood and glasses back on. But let's create an environment where people can see you the way you want to be seen.
And so on your website, and I mentioned it a moment ago, mydoc-.com, there's a pouch. And in the pouch, you put your insurance card and your driver's license. And then I guess you hang it on the window. On the side window? Right. Okay. What's the reasoning behind that?
The reasoning is to create an atmosphere. The first 3 to 4 questions that's going to be asked is about your driver's license, insurance, and registration. But there's a lot of people that have communication challenges, that have, non-visible situations or circumstances that in a split second, when police officers have to make a decision on your behavior, there's no time. And there leaves a lot of room for police officers to assume things that are not. So I talk about that, like, be patient with me, officer. I'm colorblind. Perhaps that could explain why you ran the red light. Be patient with me, officer. I'm on the spectrum. You know, my son was diagnosed. I don't know if you've heard that he's been diagnosed late at around 12. He was often misinterpreted as being disrespectful due to his flat affect. These are all things. Be patient with me, officer. I'm deaf. So no, I wasn't running from the police. I honestly didn't hear the sirens. And so when people have just a split second to make a decision on your behavior, it's just a moment or just one more notion of explanation in terms of who you are can make a world of a difference between a police officer being careless versus being cautious and then being in a whole nother situation based off of what they thought that really was not.
How have the kids received the classes that you're teaching? Have they been open to it?
Oh my God, we have the most fun. I think it starts out because they feel like it's a scolding, but then I really drill down on the fact that there is nothing wrong with you and you are not a criminal, and this is proactive information. This is not because there's anything inherently wrong with you. This is proactive information. So we get up and we do traffic stops, and they come up with scenarios. Some of them are the police, some of them are the drivers, and we would just talk about what optics are and why traffic stop and the mentality behind why a police may pull you over. And so it really has broadened their idea and led them not to be to take it so personal. And so we have a survey, and the responses in the survey has just almost brought me to tears, because it just lets you know that there's just so much that we assumed that they knew. And so it just really tells the tale of the impact. I tell you, it has just truly exceeded my expectations. I'm so excited.
How does this program, or how do you combat the idea that there are, you mentioned this earlier, that sometimes kids are going off of what family members have told them their experiences have been like with police, and maybe it's not been good, and maybe generationally, their parents had a bad experience and their grandparents had a bad experience, and they hear stories about their great-grandparents having bad experiences. How do you combat that when you're delivering a message to a kid who has just been going off of what he or she has heard from their family for so long?
I let them know that they have a choice, that they don't have to make. We talk about being proactive. We talk about making good choices. And we talk about the difference between being proactive and reactionary to situations. And so I let them know that was them. That's not you. Okay? You're not going to have expired plates. That's them. That's not you. And so once they really understand that, listen, you have a fundamental choice to make a shift in your mind to be whatever it is and whoever it is that you want to be. You truly can go through your entire life without being arrested. It really can happen. It really can happen. And so it does not have to be your destiny. And I see the shift in their mindset, like, no, you have permission to be something different. You have permission to be something and to do something different. And it's almost like sometimes people just need to be told that, or given permission, to create boundaries and to be somebody different and to choose to go in another direction.
Kimberly, what has been the response from law enforcement? Have you talked to them about this?
Absolutely. We have law enforcement that have sat in my classroom, and I have checked in on them to ask them, am I correct? You know what I mean? And there's been some questions that I've even learned from them, like one of the law enforcement, when we had a couple of people in the car, pretending that we had like 3 or 4 people in the car, the law enforcement told us that, listen, any more than 2 people in the car, we're calling for backup. Okay, that I didn't really understand the science behind why sometimes you have 1 police officer versus other times why you have 2. So having that bit of reassurance in the classroom that can truly answer the questions in real time, getting feedback on the police officers to ask, am I truly representing the safety needs? Because it's so important that our officers are safety. This is not just about the civilians, because the officers have families too. Their lives matter as well. And we really can create an environment where the safety of all are represented in one interaction. We don't have to give up one for the other. And so DocDash was created to align the safety needs of the police officers with the safety needs of the motorists, so that we can all exist harmoniously in this space.
The website is mydoc-mydoc-com. Kimberly St. Clair, we really do appreciate you talking with us today. It sounds like a great program, and wish you continued success with it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Kimberly St. Clair is the owner and president of DocDash. Again, it is mydoc-.com. There are certain things that, for example, she mentioned that if there are more than 2 people in the car, that sometimes the police will wait for a backup.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I have been told, and maybe if there is a police officer listening, can correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's after a certain time, depending on where you are, if you get pulled over, they will wait for backup, even if it's just you.
Really?
So if you get pulled over after, say, midnight, that they'll wait for somebody else, another car. And I have been pulled over after like 10, 11 o'clock. It's been dark, and the first car pulls up, and then another one pulls up behind him. Not like they need 2 people to deal with me,
well,
but
that happened with me. And I think it was
I think it's
because
a safety
one
thing.
of my headlamps was out. But I was pulled over, just like a single female, like in the car, and there was backup. And I remember thinking, wow, this looks really bad. Because there's so many cop cars by me.
They should have taken you to jail, though, just to teach you a lesson.
Oh, brother.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
STL Fenceworks, serving the St. Louis, St. Charles, Franklin, and Warren counties for over 50 years. And here's the thing. What makes STL Fenceworks so great is just the satisfaction that the customers have with the craftsmanship, with the product, with the finished product. A new fence or deck, it's an investment in your home. It's an investment in your lifestyle. And I think the biggest thing we want is, how do we ensure that we're getting the most out of that investment? How do I know I'm making a good investment? Well, at STL Fenceworks, satisfaction means getting a fence or a deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. And they do that with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. I talk about them being locally owned and operated and family owned and operated. That's just one of the reasons why they are so invested in your home and in your project. And satisfaction with STL Fenceworks, it also means that you can have complete confidence in the quality of your new fence or your new deck, knowing that it was built with the very best materials and workmanship. That's just one of the many reasons why I'm so proud to work with STL Fenceworks, do lives for STL Fenceworks. Sean Timothy Long, who runs the company that his parents opened, they're invested in you. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over $15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but accelerated debt settlement moves fast. Just call 1-877-314-1342.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-877-314-1342 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-877-314-1342. 1-877-314-1342.
February 26th through March 10th, enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets for you and your friends to see Arrival from Sweden, the music of ABBA, at the Factory on April 14th. An Arrival from Sweden show is the closest you can get to the experience of seeing the real ABBA on stage. Enter by going to the KMOX contest page, clicking on the Arrival from Sweden contest link, enter your email address, and click Submit. Winners will be randomly picked at the end. Tickets are on sale now.
If you're facing $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, stop struggling to stay afloat and call Accredited Debt Relief today for faster relief. Depending on your financial situation, you may qualify for a 40% or higher reduction in your monthly payments and only have to make one consolidated monthly payment you can afford. Accredited Debt Relief has helped over 300,000 qualified consumers pay off over $1 billion in debt, earning them an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. This is the light at the end of the debt tunnel to become debt-free. So make the call to Accredited Debt Relief now and see how much you can save. There's no obligation, so call now and get relief from your debt faster.
Call 800-455-8787. 800-455-8787. That's 800-455-8787. Program and services not available in all states.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over $15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but accelerated debt settlement moves fast. Just call 1-877-314-1165.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-877-314-1165 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-877-314-1165. 1-877-314-1165.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. For the month of love, get 3 rooms clean starting at just $119. Plus, they are throwing in a free hallway and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Call 314-474-2020. Say you heard about them on the DG Ask and you want the KMOX special.
Hey guys, it's Dave and Rachel from the Dave Glover Show.
So Smart Mouth is the only mouth rinse in the world that has a chemical reaction that makes sure that your bad breath is gone for 12 hours at a time, which means 24 hours a day, zero bad breath.
Yeah, all you have to do is rinse twice and you are covered for 24 hours. That means you never have bad breath. Plus, there's a product to fit whatever your needs are. To learn more, go to their website, smartmouth.com/Glover. And while you're there, you can get a coupon for $2.50 off.
We're back! Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors on KMOX.
All right, gotta go. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. Hey, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you want to do it again?
Oh, I'd love to. Hey, guess who else is going to be performing tomorrow? Sonny Gray.
Yeah, and Sonny Gray is getting a start for the Cardinals, his first in a Cardinals uniform.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spring training game, and maybe we'll bring a little of that to you. I don't know yet.
We're not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure. We have to move things around if we're going to do it. But yeah, anything you missed, it's on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, KMOX.com. You can go there too. All the great interviews, all the great segments. We did like a million of those today. And we're going to come back tomorrow. Do it again. 10 o'clock, 10 to 1. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. The Dave Glover Show is next. We'll hang out for a bit right here on KMOX.
I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul of faith.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now.